Yo! What up, what up, what up? Hello, it's me. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to get cucktastic? I gotta set a goal on YouTube. I don't always like set goals and stuff, but I'm gonna set a goal because I am probably gonna need more alcohol than this. Than what's available to me. Oh my god. Survive. Well, we've also got the spice and survival. Bro. Let's go. Alright. I just made like a small one. It's just a 10. It's just a 10 super chat goal. Yeah, 3 stream. Alright, okay. So today we're talking about politics. Alright, let me turn off that fan. We're talking about politics day. It's politics day. Thursdays become politics day. I have collected some of the streamers we've been told to go watch that are like conservative Canadian people like that make videos or streams. So we'll check those out, but we're not going to do that today. There's been a bunch of stuff that's gone on, so we'll get to that. We've got from April 23rd, Pierre Polyev talking about Canadian trade and U.S. talks. We have the energy minister addressing Empire Club of Canada, and then we have a Q&A about U.S. trade talks. So basically, Kuzma's coming up, so there's been a lot of discussion and a lot of like shit flinging going back and forth about Kuzma. So we're gonna check that out. Wacom Intuos is super cheap and works great. 4 buttons plus 2 buttons. Don't buy anything Wacom. I don't recommend buying Wacom at all. If you want to buy something and you want it to be cheap and good, buy XP Pen. Especially with the... Wacom's got a lot of... I have beef with Wacom. I have personal beef with Wacom. They have a whole lot of proprietary bullshit, and they have a lot of, like, fucking software they've got in the background to disable features if you don't use, like, their fucking dicks. But yeah, we're talking politics. Alright. Let's fucking get into this. You're early for once. Congratulations. Welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Alright. Hello. Hello. Alright, we're gonna start with Polyev. What is Wacom? Wacom is a company that makes drawing tablets. They are generally the industry standard for, they're not all screened tablets, but a lot of them are. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Just let people filter in, sip our tea. I made a super chat goal for today just because I don't have enough alcohol for the shit that I put up with for this. So if you want to, like, enable my drinking habits. Yeah. All right. You had to evaporate for a while? Yeah, sounds good. I wish I was evaporating right now. All right. So this is from April 23rd. So this happened like right after our last stream. And this is where they're going to be talking more about US-Canadian trade politics. So we're going to start off with Pierre Polyev. And then we're going to see what Mark Carney said. And we're also going to look at what Tim Hodgson had to say about it. All right. There's also like a new one with the Canadian Strong Fund, which was 3 days ago. So we have to kind of catch up from the week. So we got quite a bit to go through, but they're not all super duper long. This one's an hour. This one's 50 minutes. This one's 30 minutes. So yeah, he looks smug. He always looks smug. He's got this smug face. It's okay. I'm smug sometimes. I'm a smug often. Oh no. Do I look like this guy? Oh no. All right. Let's get in.
Comme vous le savez, notre mission, c'est de ramener le premier...
Oh yeah, I forgot. Everything is actually like half the length because we're going to skip the French.
Du Canada, on veut de nous réduire et les prestations ou le... Et ça fait le panier, tout l'attendre aux banques. On a gagné à la vie. Volte-face, pendant le pire. Plus de notre tête de jeu Carney. Non, est le pire conséquent des menaces à 10 une décennie de logement. Génération passée, pas de négocier sur la monétaire. C'est quoi le plan de Marc? C'est quoi la chose? Par rapport à vouloir, il a dit, il dit allemand, c'est se faire ensemble. Comme ça, j'aime
It's okay, I'll find it eventually.
non plus. Il avait tort sur toutes les qui veut pas. As Canadians, we want stronger.
There we go. Okay, so it's about 5 minutes 20 seconds in. One of the things that that Pierre Poilievre does is he's been doing this for a long time, and it seems performative to me, if you've been following for any long period of time, is he often starts with the French. It's just like his name, Pierre Poilievre. The way, like, he changed the pronunciation of Poilievre, right? It used to just be like Polier. But or however the fuck, it used to be like Poilievre. He used to pronounce it differently, and then he francophoned it later when he, like, when he was taking, like, more of aiming for a leadership position. And he starting his stuff with French, and it seems to be performative to try to court the conservative French speakers. Needless to say, he's done nothing but piss them off, but he's sticking with it, I guess. All right, let's go.
By contrast, now in English, as Canadians, we want stronger take-home pay, safer streets, solid borders.
We don't need stronger take-home pay. We just need our dollar to be worth more in our own country. You don't have to make more money, necessarily. You just need your money to be worth more, right? So you don't necessarily have to have less taxes. You don't necessarily have to have more money. That money just needs to be able to do more than it does currently. So framing it that way is, like, misleading a little bit. But at the same time, this is literally, can we get a counter to see if he brings up anything that is new and isn't just the same shit he was saying like 2, 3, 4 years ago? Also, take a drink, because it's gonna be fucking, alright, it's gonna be the same slogans, right? It's gonna be pay, streets, borders, da-da-da-da-da, Zell for the cause, thank you for, being stampeded. Thank you very much, greatly appreciated, for the cause! Yeah, I do have my spices, they're just down right over there, so I will whip those out if and when we reach that goal. Confusing Canada with the States on take-home pay? Yeah, maybe. What is Carney doing? That's why you want Peter Poilievre. Alright, yeah.
In a self-reliant Canada. We want to restore the promise of this country where anyone who works hard gets affordable food and homes, gets to live.
That was the American dream, that wasn't the Canadian dream.
Live on a safe street and own a house. We want to free up money.
Same shit.
For this affordable Canada by cutting corporate welfare, bureaucracy,
I swear to God, if this guy says something new, I will go and crack a beer. Just to celebrate that he said something fucking new.
Foreign aid, handouts to fake and phony refugees, all of this.
Fake and phony refugees, all, like, your wife? You're your wife's dad or cousin or whatever the fuck that is. Your uncle? What is a phony refugee? What is a fake refugee? Somebody who claims refugee status and doesn't deserve it? Or, like, what do you mean fake and foreign aid? All this does is reek of fucking Donald Trump-isms. Like, it reeks so badly of we need to cut foreign aid, and it's like, why? What do you constitute as foreign aid? Do you want to not help Ukraine? Or do you want to not... Yeah, no, his wife is, an immigrant, but they also, like, brought in his wife's, like, dad, or his wife's uncle or something, and there was, like, questionable fuckery going on there, and that's the thing that people speculate is why he won't get a security clearance. But yeah, it's just racism. Yeah, it's just racism. Phony refugees. They own a phone. Oh, I see.
This would help bring down deficits, taxes, and inflation. Our mission, again,
is okay.
To restore the promise of this country that has been broken. After 11 years of Liberal government...
No inflation, by the way, is generally bad for an economy. For anybody who doesn't know that. I'm sure most of you are aware of that. I'm sure most of you know that about... I'm sure most of you know that about economics. That no inflation for, like, periods of time is generally bad. Sorry, anyway, promises something about... Go on.
Again, is to restore the promise of this country that has been broken. After 11 years of Liberal governments, Canadians cannot afford housing, groceries, and gas. Liberals have doubled.
Housing, groceries, and gas are all expensive. I agree. All those things are expensive and they're not very affordable. I agree that that is a problem. What are you going to do about it?
Our debt, doubled food bank lineups, and doubled housing costs. They gave us the worst growth in the G7 over the last decade and the worst.
That's not true. We've already demonstrated that the least growth in the G7 is a bullshit number. He's cherry picking. He's cherry picking and misrepresenting the number.
Decade of economic growth in Canada's history. Mark Carney supported every single one of these costly, disastrous Liberal policies.
That's not inherently true. I'm pretty sure he made that up also.
And then in the last election, he promised to reverse everything he had said and
no, he didn't.
That his party had done in the prior decade. Yet nothing has changed.
No, and also no. Again, I remind you, the first thing that Carney did when he took office was fulfill his promise to cut the carbon tax, and he did. And now he's cut the carbon tax again, because he cut it on, like, residential, not residential, he cut it on the consumer level, and then now has cut it on the, he's like frozen it or something, or cut it for, like industry level for now to deal with the Iran fuckery that is currently afoot. Yeah, it'd be nice if Polyev was specific, but he's not, and it's on purpose. Why should we pay PP to lie to us? Yeah, that's a good question. I really do think there needs to be a law instituted about politicians lying. Again, it would be really difficult. Like, you'd have to get some actual lawyers on it to make it functional, but I think there needs to be something put in place.
Changed. Everything is worse. More crime, more cost, more corruption, more.
That's not true. The crime rate is this like next to nearly the exact same. We've looked at it before.
The same. Mark Carney is just another Liberal. Carney Liberals have doubled Trudeau's deficit. This is amazing. No one thought it could get any worse than Justin Trudeau's deficits. Yet Carney's deficit is twice the size of Trudeau's. All because
he is confusing deficit with investment. Yeah, show the data then. I understand. And admittedly, this is not the forum for him to be putting that data forward, but there's plenty of ways that he could put this data forward and then doesn't. You mentioned Trudeau just as you wrote it. You were about to be like, man, he mentions Carney rather than Trudeau. Shit! We need to take a drink every time Pierre Polyev brings up Justin Trudeau. $100,000 every time they are proven to have lied would be a good start. I like the idea, but I'm not sure about the number, only because, like, our politicians aren't supposed to be making that much money. So, like, I guess it's not to make profit, right? It's to bankrupt them so they fuck off. I think what if the fine goes to the party? Ooh, instead of the individual? The party. So, like, the Conservative Party gets fined per lie demonstrated in court. Oh! Yeah, what would constitute a lie? Yeah, we'd have to finagle the, like, I would say, like, perjury, basically. If you could prove the equivalent of perjury. So, like, anytime a politician is speaking like this, they're speaking under penalty of perjury, ostensibly. That's what I would use as a baseline. But again, we'd have to talk to it. This isn't a philosophical question. This is a legal question. I mean, there's philosophy in law, but that, you know what? Shut up. You know what I mean. Fine goes to the new sovereign fund. I like it. I like it. Jason. I like it. All right, go on.
He's increased government spending by 7% year over year. He's added $90 billion of net new spending above and beyond his promised savings, 2/3 of which is going to day-to-day operations and not to capital investment. And CD.
Yeah, I want a citation on that. I don't know how accessible that citation is. What would we even look? Mark Carney, Canadian spending year over year, maybe? Well, we reached the 2% NATO defense spending, so that was something we were supposed to be doing anyway. Main estimates show hiking spending. Like, I think we all know that Mark Carney is spending more money. Like, I'm pretty sure we know that. So I'm not... Spring economic update. Fiscal and costing plan, maybe, from the Liberal Party. Estimated show, Harney, federal pass with spend less than spending another other month. Estimated 5%. I found a reference to 5%, but not 7%. But this is an author quoting himself. So this is one of the first things that goes. This is called taxpayer.com/newsroom. So, but if you look at the author, Franco, right, and then he says, Carney repeatedly told Canadians he's going to spend less, but he keeps spending billions of dollars more, says Franco. The author is quoting himself as if... You can... Listen, you can quote yourself, but, like... That's funny. Anyway, this is as of what is this? It's 26th, February 26th. But even this one is listing it as, where did it go? Right here. 5% year over year. 5%, not 7%. And then he's just quoting himself again down here. I like this one. Prime Minister Carney plans to add $324 billion to the deficit by 2030. For comparison, the former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau projected to add $150 billion to the debt over those same years. Yeah, we didn't have a trade war going on when Justin Trudeau was Prime Minister. And also, Justin Trudeau did not have the economic prowess to make major 10 to 20 year investment plans. So again, I really just think that they're confusing the amount of money. Like, the amount of money coming into Canada is already way more than it was during Justin Trudeau's time. So yeah, I mean, I agree that the government is spending more money right now. Just like how I agree that the government spent more money during World War II, and that the government spent more money during COVID. Like, of course the government is spending more money. I will give you guys the fiscal cost plan for the Liberals, just so you know what they are. Because, like, just so you can access it and check it for yourself. I'm not going to go through it right now, but there's the fucking website for the Liberal government. If you want to see what their plan actually is, or what they're thinking of doing, and how much you actually want to, like, here's the fucking non-residential investment as share of GDP. Right? So, like, if you want to check these things out on your own time, you can go ahead and do that. I just want to give you guys the access to the information. But yeah, I don't think there's any disagreement that Mark Carney is spending more money now, but wartime tends to cost money, and so does, dealing with terrorists. And right now, the President of the United States is acting as an economic terrorist on purpose, and also an actual terrorist, like, by bombing the shit out of people and causing fucking untold economic damage to everybody on the planet. So, yeah, the government's gonna have to spend some extra money to get through that. To the surprise of fucking nobody.
House said today Canada can no longer pride itself on fiscal discipline, end quote. Carney Liberals gave us
wow, I'm sure that's not a quote mine at all.
worst food inflation in the G7, and yet he had the audacity.
We talked about the food inflation last week. If you want to go check it out, you can. He's lying. Basically, he's lying. It's not what you think it is. It depends on what you mean by worst. We don't have the highest inflation rate. We currently have one of the highest, if not the highest, total numbers, but that total number has gone down year over year, not up year over year. So we actually have deflation in that case, not inflation in that case. Very long quote. It definitely not mine. I don't know what you mean. You don't like nice agents? No. I want any government agency person to be like straightforward and to the point, and I don't want to have any more conversation with them. Oh, did you bring the stats? Did you bring the stats from last time? Oh, you brought the stats from last time. Oh no, this is a different one. Oh, look at that. Nice. Consumer price index. Again, it's not that these things aren't a problem. These things are problems. But it's less of a problem of the actual price and the inflation rate, and more of a problem of the amount of buying power and the amount of money the average Canadian has. Its inflation hasn't risen to match, right? And so, like, you can get through stuff like that by, like, doing lots of different things. You can increase minimum wage, which the Liberal government has done. You can do things like, you don't necessarily want to deflate groceries, right? But you do want the inflation rate to be reasonable, right? So we're back to, I'm pretty sure conservatives need a fucking economics 101 class. No offense. Yeah, it's more, right, exactly. It's, you want to decrease the acceleration of inflation and increase the inflation on each thing respectively until they are closer matched together, and then you can let it go again.
To claim in the House of Commons last week that affordability is at its best in a decade.
It is. Affordability is the best it is at the decade. Although you might not personally experience, you're talking about an entire country. So...
Carney Liberals promised to double home building, while his housing agency says it will fall by 18%. Today, Carney was...
Double house building, but says it will fall. What? The number of houses being built? Or what will? God, he's so unclear.
Again spreading housing illusions, re-announcing an announcement he made back in December for projects that have still not got underway.
This man actually thinks you can do construction in Canada over winter. My guy, nobody is fucking digging into the ice ground to build housing in fucking February. That's not how it works in Canada. Are you from here? Didn't on Joe Rogan he go on to like some rant and rave about how building a strong country in this kind of climate, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you're not doing construction in February, asshole. What are you fucking talking about?
All he has built is a new housing bureaucracy, a new agency in Ottawa to sop up tax dollars and block home building.
Look at how bored Pierre Poilievre is. He doesn't even believe what he's saying.
Illusions. A year after Mark Carney promised to build at speeds not seen in generations. His promised pipeline to the Pacific has no permit.
He didn't promise a pipeline. At no point did Carney promise a pipeline. That was never what he said. On the other hand, no, there is. We talked about drains. We talked about housing last week. We went through the list of projects that have been approved and disapproved and ones that have had to be restarted. So this is all available information. Hello, welcome.
No route, no investor, no builder, no start date, no end date, and no...
Correct! For the project he never promised.
No oil to put in it. In fact, the only company that says they could potentially build that pipeline, Enbridge, says there won't be enough oil because the Liberal industrial carbon tax will prevent it from ever being produced.
The carbon tax that currently is not there. He paused the carbon tax. The thing I just talked about earlier.
He's not negotiated a single free...
Using tax dollars to help citizens. How dishonorable of Carney's government. Yeah, what the fuck are they supposed to be using the tax dollars on, my guy? What does he think taxes are for? When there is a date for the train project, he complains it's not fast enough. Yeah, no, that's all these guys do is bitch and moan.
Free trade agreement. He broke his single...
That's not true either. Has not made a single free trade agreement. That is not true at all.
Promise from the last election to negotiate a win with the United States by July of last...
Yeah, that is true. Initially, Carney was saying he backed off of that one pretty quick, though. Admittedly, he was initially saying that he wanted to have a deal initiated by July of last year, and obviously that fell through. But you really think it's Carney's fault? I think it's Carney's fault for thinking he could negotiate with Donald Trump or anybody in that fucking White House. But is Pierre not talking about the industrial carbon pricing, which, as far as I know, is still in place? There's been a pause. Unless, yeah, he might be talking about something else. That's possible.
Last year, instead, he has done nothing while the Americans have doubled tariffs.
He's done nothing? He's done nothing. Guys, he's done nothing. The deal with China, nothing. The deal with the UK, nothing. The deal with rearming Europe, nothing. The deal about the Arctic sovereignty and working with Germany and Denmark, nothing. Oh, going to and negotiating and strengthening our trading ties with the Nordic countries, nothing. That's all nothing. It's all, guys, getting all of the provinces to sign on to open trade amongst our own province, nothing. That's all nothing. All of that's all nothing. This is the problem. This is why people can't take the conservatives in Canada seriously. It's not fucking nothing. You can say it's not good enough, or you can have problems with it, or you could say, here's what I think should be being done, and then people will take you seriously. But if you're gonna pretend that, if you want to just close your eyes, cover your ears, and be fucking delusional, then what's the point of fucking... It's fucking nothing! Have you considered the lack of slogans? How else can you measure productivity? Yeah, that. Jesus Christ. Again, the issue here isn't that the conservatives don't have a point. It's that this guy doesn't have a fucking point. Jesus Christ. God damn it.
On aluminum, steel, and other products. And
the trade deal, definitely not. The cuts and work that the Liberal government is doing to ensure the steel, aluminum, and automotive industries are able to weather the fuckery that is the United States right now. Like, what? Jesus fuck, man. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging your opponent. It has a point. That doesn't mean you have to agree with them. Yeah, the India deal, the fucking investment from Indonesia. Like, again, to say nothing is absurd on its face. So if you're gonna, like, there's nothing wrong with having issues or disagreeing, but if you're just gonna pretend that they haven't done anything, like, you're toasted. Like, you're cooked. You know what I mean?
Tripled them on lumber. No one knows his plans, or even...
Donald? Yeah, nobody knows what Donald Trump's plans are. Of course the tariffs are gonna fucking fling all over the place. Like, nobody's surprised by this. It has next to nothing to do with Mark Carney.
And his goals. Help me to understand this. Sunday,
okay.
Mark Carney released a video comparing himself to Sir Isaac Brock.
No, he didn't. That's not what that video... No, you made an allegory. No. You Mr. Obsessed with fucking... What's his face? Shit, what's his name? The fucking... One of the guys who founded Canada. John Mackenzie or something. Hold on, what's his name? Fuck. Macintosh. Shit, what's his name? Hold on. Hold on, I forget his name. It's gonna drive me crazy. The first prime minister. Oh no. The super uber racist. You know when we talked about the fucking that's called economy, government, politics. Fuck. God. Oh, what's his name? Yeah, John A. MacDonald, thank you. My brain was not fucking computing. Yeah. Remember last time when we were talking about the train? I'm obsessed with the trains. You remember last time we were talking about the trains, and Polyev lied about the amount of time it would take to do the trains, and then amount of times that it did take us to do the trains, and completely flushed under the rug that how fucking much slavery was related to the trains.
a 19th century war general who fought a war against the Americans. He said in that video that it is a weakness that we trade with the U.S. Today, he said...
That's not what he said.
We're stronger together with the Americans. He said...
No. Sir, you clearly cannot understand nuance. And since you asked to somebody to help you explain this, I will explain this nuance to you. Hold on. I've got Krita open still. Hold on. I'm gonna need a blackboard, okay? We need a blackboard, alright? I got you. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I got this. Hold on. Let me get this for you. Since this is such a struggle, since you're having such a hard fucking time, let me just get this going for you here real quick. Here you go. Let me just get this on screen. All right. Here we go. So, let's turn this into a blackboard. Since you're going to struggle with this so much. Let me grab my pen. God, we live in a society. Explain this to me. Help me understand. Okay. Now, we watched what Carney said. We listened to the address, so we know what Carney is talking about. We're gonna ignore his pretending that this guy fucking was comparing himself to this in the way he's presenting it, alright? We're gonna ignore that part. We're just gonna talk about the difference between Carney saying strong together with the United States with the US. Alright, let me zoom this in. Strong together with the US versus weak with the United States. Alright. So what's the difference between this and this? Right? Because they're not the same. Obviously. This guy is saying that it's contradictory to say both. Right? That's what Pierre Polyev is saying. First in the chat, do you guys think that it's contradictory to say both of these things? 1 in the chat if yes, 2 in the chat if no. You want me to make the brush thicker? Yeah. I'll double it. I'll redraw it just so it's easier for people to see. We've got 2 concepts, right? Strong together with the United States and weak with the United States. All right? Do you think these 2 statements are contradictory? 1 in the chat if yes, 2 in the chat if no. Hey, Hoyner's got it. You've got it figured out, my guy. In what aspects? And that's where the nuance comes in, right? You can be strong, right, by working together. Right? If you work together, you can generally get more done, right? Positives. However, if it's unbalanced, and the United States and Canada are on different ends here, where the United States is either benefiting more or is getting more benefit, or has like a larger GDP, or has a larger population, or has a larger... Right? It doesn't mean that working together is bad or wrong or makes us weaker. It means when these things are unbalanced and we don't take care of ourselves, that we end up at a disadvantage. And things that might have been an advantage in the past are no longer an advantage because Donald Trump is taking a poo. And it's really stinky. It's got little flies around it. On everybody. Does that make sense? Does the nuance of that, is that understandable? Do you think Pierre Polyev can understand this? Or do I need a different colored crayon? He was not this bad in his first term. Are you talking about Donald Trump? Donald Trump tried to do a lot of what he's doing now during his first term, but he was not set up to do so and was not able to do so. He didn't have the tools and he didn't have the gaps that he needed. So he was trying to do this stuff. People forget that during Trump's first term, one of the first things he did was put like a 16% tax on Canada. It's one of the first things he did was attack Canada economically. And people forget that that was a thing that happened. But it was quashed pretty quickly. However, not so much this time. So does everybody understand the nuance between that those things are not mutually exclusive or contradictory concepts? You can be strong working with someone, but that doesn't mean the balance of working with that person currently is active. The United States can be a ball and chain to Canada if it wants to be. It doesn't mean never working with them. It's better and stronger and in general for us to work with the United States, but that doesn't mean they're a reliable trade partner. It does not mean that we just bend over backwards to do whatever the fuck they want. Right? Joshua, hey, good to see you. Super Chat 5 says, for survival, not to be confused with Survivor, the band who sang Eye of the Tiger. When it makes sense, right? It's all about context and the nuance of like when it makes sense. This is like the same thing as saying, oh, we should never trade with the United States. Nobody is saying to cut off all trade with the United States, right? Nobody is fucking saying that. It's about a reasonable adjustment. So let me bring this back up for a second, because I think this is one of the nuances that get lost. Don't worry, I'll fix it so that way you guys can see chat at the same time. Let me just adjust it real quick for you. You don't need any of that shit. You don't need any of this shit, and you don't need any of this shit. All right, how's that? Is that good? There we go. Let me adjust this a little bit, okay? Let's move over here slightly. If we have Canada and the United States, right? And we have, like, let's call this the world. The world, all right? United States trades with the world. Canada trades with the world. Canada and the United States trade with each other. Right? Seems pretty balanced. Seems pretty cool. Seems like it works. However, when the United States is trading with the world, and Canada, we're just going to do it this way, right? If Canada is trading with the world, and it looks like this, as opposed to Canada trading with the United States, and it looks like this. It doesn't look as balanced anymore, does it? kind of looks fucked up, don't you think? If fucking like 75, I think it's more than 75, but let's call it 75 just to make life easy, right? If 75% of Canadian trade CT goes to the United States, it means that United States buying power against Canadians is way off balance. It's way big. Right? It's way big. So if Canada, right, it becomes a dependent. It becomes problematic because now it gives Canada or the United States politics a ton of power over Canadians' buying power. Right? If there's suddenly prohibition, for example, in the United States, I'm going to take an extreme example that's not likely to happen just to make the conversation a little easier. Right? So like if you were to turn this around, right? Let's say let's get rid of this. Let's go back here. Is it unreasonable, do you think, to balance these out? Right? It's all about a balancing act. If it's too much, it's by definition too much. That's what the word too means. More than we want. So yeah, if the United States, let's say, does prohibition all of a sudden, what do you think that does to the Canadian market? And what the fuck do you think that fucking market happens if that fucking, the amount, it's bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and suddenly Canada's just blotted out at that point? We don't have a say in our own economy anymore. Right? And so it's not that you never trade with the United States, it's you just readjust these. Yeah, of course our trade with the United States is always going to be like a little bit bigger, right? Our trade with the United States is always going to be like bigger than everywhere else. Why? Because geographically it only makes sense. It's the same for the United States. So it balances itself out, right? Because it's likely that the United States is going to want to work with us more often than not because we're literally next door to each other. It's so fucking convenient. But that doesn't mean you don't balance it out, right? So yeah, these concepts that Polyev is trying to present as a contradiction are not in fact contradictory. They're just contextually two different concepts. And it's almost like he said, oh, well, during his address he said this, but talking about this he said something else. It's, yeah, because they're two different fucking concepts, my guy. If I say I don't like apples, when somebody asks me about rotten fruit, and I say my least favorite rotten fruit is apples, therefore I don't like apples, and I turn around and then later say, apple pie is one of my favorite things, I'm not contradicting myself. I'm talking about two different fucking things. Even if I don't like raw apples, maybe I don't like raw apples, but when they're smothered in cinnamon and whipped cream, I'm all over it. I can say I don't like apples and then like apple pie and not have those are not contradictory statements. They're two different things. For fuck's sakes. It's not even that complicated. This guy's just an asshole. I broke my... Oh. My pen was too close to the thing. Right? Do we understand? Are we on the same page? These are not contradictory statements. I explained it to him like he was 5. Okay, there we go.
Recently that he wants a rupture with the U.S., and now he says he thinks we can get a mutually beneficial deal. These are contradictions.
Those are not contradictory. They're not. No, they're not contradictions.
All in the span of a few days. So which is it? Is it a rupture?
No, it's neither. It's you're an idiot. It's 1, false dichotomy. 2, they're not contradictions and you do not prove them to be contradictions. And 3, it's just you either being too dumb to understand or you being dishonest or somewhere in between. Somewhere where we play a balancing act here and be like, I don't know, do you guys think he's being more dishonest or do you guys just think he's dumb? I do think that there is something to be said for just like having a bias. But I feel like bias kind of schlubs under stupidity. He didn't say he wanted a rupture. Carney said that there now exists a rupture. That is a statement of fact rather than one of desire. Good point. Good point. Him acknowledging that the rupture exists does not mean he's the one who instigated it or that he wants it there. My brother in Christ, this is so simple. It is. It's so fucking simple.
Or are we stronger together? And why is it that he contradicts himself so wildly?
Those aren't contradictions.
Is it because he doesn't know what he's doing from one day to the next? Or more likely, is it that he's using sensationalist words he does not mean to make headlines distracting from rising costs, crime, and corruption here at home?
Do I really need to let it rain brains? Do I really need to pull up the fucking crime chart again? I'm not doing it. You can't make me do it.
Government. While he plays these games, there's one thing that is certainly rupturing. Jobs. Almost a month ago...
Are we really going to talk about job growth? I feel like we talked about that not too long ago. Didn't we talk about job growth not too long ago? Hold on. I'm pretty sure we talked about this, but let's pull it up anyway. Pretty sure we did. You know what? Yeah, pull up the crime chart for a minute. Labor market. Jobs Canada. No, what is this? No, I don't want to explore the market. Okay, here we go. No, this works. This works. Canadian labor market by the numbers. Unemployment rate down to 6.7%. Working population, job vacancies up. Average weekly earnings up. Working population up. Oh. There we go. Oh, 0.1% monthly change up in March. 0 point change in March. There you go. Right there. Employment was little changed in March. Plus 14,000, so plus 0.1% of the employment rate, held steady at 60.6%. The unemployment rate was unchanged at 6.7%. Do you have any idea how fucking insane it is? Do I need to adjust this so you guys can see it better? Is that better for you guys? Do you have any idea how insane it is that our employment rate and our unemployment rate is unchanging at 6.7% when our biggest trade partner is throwing around threats and throwing around tariffs and dropping bombs that are destroying the oil market? Like, my guy, you understand that these things barely changing is fucking huge and incredibly difficult to do? It is March of 2026. And stuff takes time to ripple down and ripple back. Across the major age groups, employment held steady and the unemployment rate was little changed. Employment rose in other services industry at plus 15,000 at plus 1.9%, which includes personal and repair service. It also increased in natural resources, 10,000 at plus 3.0%. Employment declined in finance, insurance, real estate, rental, and leasing. Oh no, guys, less fucking shitty landlords. What a shame. Orange Dot for 2 said, for well-needed brain coolant. Oh, bless. Thank you. I'm gonna need it, man. Oh my god. And this is only a drop of 0.8%. And then it goes into the details of each province. Average hourly wages among employees increased by 4.7% year-over-year basis. Like, my guy, you see this big, look at the chart. Look at the chart. Look at it. Look at it. Look at the chart. Look at the chart. Look at where it is. Look at it. Look at it. This is March. This is March. Look at the difference. This is 2018. This is COVID. Look at how fast it jumped back up and then fucking wiggled its way back. It's dropped a little bit by like a couple of percentage points. That cliff drop. Yeah, fucking COVID, man. Look it. Look it. You can even look at the numbers 1 to 1. January, March, 62.0. 62.0 in March of 2018. March of 2019 was 62.1. March of 2020 was 58.3. Then March of 2021 was 60.4. Then March of 2022 was 62.1. March of 2023, 62.5. March of 2024, 61.6. March of 2025, 60.9. March of 2026 is 60.6. My guy! Look at that! Go fucking figure. Good fucking figure. World Data Canada Violent Crime Statistics. Yeah, the fucking crime statistics. Where's the chart? Where's the chart? Oh, decrease, 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 decrease. Negative, 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 negative. Damn. Gosh darn, how fucking unlucky that he's just wrong about all of these things. Statistically, by the numbers. Like, it's one thing to say something vague and be incorrect about it, but it's like vague and it's like, oh, you know, I can understand why that might be the perception. This guy's just straight fucking bald-faced lying to people. Bro, just because you don't have your security clearance doesn't mean you can't go look at the fucking data on this. Of all things. Jesus Christ.
The U.S. slammed Canada with broadened tariffs. It will cost Windsor $1 billion alone. Yet the Prime Minister has not said or done a single thing about it. Zero.
Do you want me to show you a map of you guys where Windsor is, just to give you an idea? I think it's important to have some contextual information about the location of Windsor and what Windsor is about. Because I don't think you're gonna understand what he's saying unless you, fucking... This is Windsor, Canada. Alright? You wanna know where Windsor, Canada is? Right beside fucking Detroit! You wanna know why Windsor is getting hit so hard by all this tariffs and shit? Because of the automotive industry and all that steel and aluminum that's getting fucking tariffed. Gee, man, I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked. They could just not be arresting people or ignoring crime. What? What? Or you're saying this crime statistics are higher than they are because of underreporting or under-policing? Is that what you mean? Some contexts where there is an understandable increase. For example, reporting of sexual assault, which has to do with there being an increase in reporting partly due to the Me Too movement. Yeah, as well as COVID, right? There was an increase of that happening because there were people living together. There were more people stuck in the same room together for longer periods of time. Anyway, if you want to know why Windsor is getting fucking hit by shit, Detroit. It's literally right fucking there, my guys. Look at where Windsor is. This is that little dot. There's Detroit. There's Windsor. That's why Windsor's getting fucking hit so hard. And again, we're back to saying that fucking... I'm gonna leave Google Earth open over here in case we need it again. Saying that... We're back to, are you sure the Prime Minister is doing nothing about it and the federal government is doing nothing? I thought you said there was a bunch of increase in spending and handouts. Yeah, that's to help places like Windsor deal with... You're complaining about both things. You're complaining they're doing something and then you're saying they're not doing anything. You can't have both. That is contradictory. Because you're complaining and saying that they're spending money they shouldn't be spending, and then saying that they're actually doing nothing. So are they spending the money that you're complaining about, or are they not spending the money? That's a contradiction. Because it's contextually relevant, right?
Nothing. More ruptured jobs. He says he wants this rupture with...
Ruptured jobs? Oh, okay. All right. Okay, all right. Go
US. On. Does that mean he wants to pull out of the CUSMA? Because that's what a rupture would
CUSMA? Nobody calls it CUSMA. Kuzma? Nobody... CUSMA? What the fuck are you talking about? No! So now you're taking something that you lied about what he said and you're using it to extrapolate to fearmonger about something that is not indicated at all. You wouldn't be pulling out of Kuzma anyway. The whole fucking reason we're even talking about this is because Kuzma's up for renewal. It wouldn't be pulling out if you don't renew it. That's not what pulling out means. Good fucking God. Oh, God damn it, my job is ruptured again, son of a bitch.
Unless the word was just a meaningless sensationalist slogan.
No, that's what you're using it for. That's what you're doing.
I would ask him that question directly in the House of Commons, but he won't show up for question period.
I mean, that's not true.
Because he knows that he and his agenda are nothing but a grand illusion, As
Do I need to go get the clip of Pierre Polyev running away from questions? Hold on. Let me go get it, because it's been a while. Oh my god, where is it? There was a clip of him literally physically running away. Nah, that's him talking about Trudeau. Oh my god, Rick Mercer to 16 years ago talking about Pierre Poilievre's pension. Bro, you want to talk about oh my god. You know, I'm just gonna give this one to you guys too so you guys can see it. Oh, I used to have it. I don't have it anymore. Oh my god. One of these days I should fucking like go through some of the fucking memes. Yeah, look at this. Mark Carney, Polyev sparred during question period over affordability in Canada. Like, he's gone back and forth. Polyev calls out Carney for feeling very cocky until PBO reports surface. Right? From, like, there's, like, plenty of clips of them going back and forth in the House. So he's just lying. He's just lying. He's banking on other people, like, his constituents, not having watched the actual, like, House forums. Which you can watch, by the way. You can go and see those.
As soon as someone asks him a tough question, the illusion collides with reality. And the reality is...
reality, you mean, like, these numbers? These numbers, like this reality, is this the reality you're talking about? Or are you talking about this reality, that all these numbers are up? That reality, the food pricing, is this what you're talking about? That reality? You're talking about these net decreases, right? These are the reality you're talking about? That crime is increasing? That our food prices are fucking... Unemployment is down. What a fucking... God damn it, dude.
...is that he's been wrong on every major economic issue of our time. He was wrong to support a bigger and broader carbon tax. He was wrong to support EV mandates, wrong to say we should keep 50% of our oil in the ground, wrong to support money printing during COVID, wrong to predict that COVID would lead to deflation rather than inflation.
It did. Look at that. That looks like a deflation to me. A deflation in jobs. Funny thing that... We were looking for the clip for you. I put Polyev runs away in YouTube, and all I get is Pierre Polyev saying Trudeau or Carney are running away, and other conservative channels saying similar things. Weird. Yeah, weird.
Wrong on every major issue of our time, including the Indo-Pacific. One of Mr. Carney's most ridiculous illusions is around trade deals. He has not negotiated a single new free trade deal. And let me...
I feel like this guy might be stuck on that every deal needs to be a free trade deal and not any deal, right? Not every deal is going to be a free trade deal. And a trade deal doesn't have to be free either. What an insane thing to fucking say. Free trade deal is actually bad for Canada. A free trade deal might not be in the best of our interest, given how much we have, how much... fucking, like, if Carney wants to turn us into a quote-unquote energy superpower, right? Trade deal versus free trade deal. Right, exactly. So if you look, for example, right? Canada's free trade agreements. Whether you sell goods or services, blah, blah, blah. 15 free trade agreements, 51 countries. 61% global GDP. How much more do you want? $51 countries? How many more countries are there that you want to fucking add to this? Kuzma, European Union, Comprehensive Economic Trade, Comprehensive Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, Canada-Indonesia, comprehensive one, Canada, Korea, Canada, UK. If you want to know how bad of a shape the Americans can put your economy in, just look at Cuba. Oh, poor Cuba. Do we want a free trade agreement with every single country? You want to have a free trade agreement with North Korea? Do you want a free trade agreement with China?
Let me say that again. Mark Carney has not negotiated a single new free trade deal. He has signed 20.
Did he say that he was going to sign free trade deals? I don't think that's what he said. I think he said, we want to diversify our trading partners. That is not saying we want every free trade deal ever, forever. That's not what that means. China does have some nice minerals, to be fair. Yeah, but we can get a hold of those minerals with just regular trade agreements. They don't need to be free trade agreements. And each of those agreements can be unique to the countries involved, right?
20 joint press releases with other countries, many countries that we already had trade deals with before. Nor has his major projects office approved a single major project that would allow us to send more resources to Asia. We need...
Depends on what you mean by any... that depends on what you mean. Right? The trains will help transport people and goods across the country. So if you're in Manitoba hold on, I need the map again. Let me pull out the map. Canada has some provinces in it that are landlocked. If you're in Saskatchewan and you want to ship something to Asia, you need to move that shit somewhere where it can get on a boat. If you're in Alberta and you want to ship somewhere else, you need to go somewhere where you can get on a boat. Somebody once said, I can't remember who it was a long time ago, they were like, Ontario, they told me that Ontario was landlocked, and I was like, what? Huh? Context, my guys, matters. Go figure. I wish the United States would fix its relations with Russia and China. We would get so much accomplished. What would you propose? I'm curious. What does fixed mean to you in that in that case? Because I don't know what that means. I'd be curious to know. Boat. It's a boat.
Need reality and not illusions. Under the previous Conservative government, we were able to sign new free trade deals with...
You mean illusions like bullshit numbers?
50 countries, including Canada, South Korea. We were able to expand our trade into that region. But we must do better and we must do more, because our trade is still imbalanced with that region.
Can I take a moment to remind everybody that the governor of the Bank of Canada might play a factor when it comes to trade deals with other countries? And who was the governor of the Bank of Canada last time the Conservatives were in power? Was it Mark Carney? Was it the 2008 financial crisis that the Conservatives tapped Mark Carney for how to deal with that?
Region, Canada imports 25% of our merchandise imports from South Korea. From that region are coming in.
That's actually pretty good.
Into our country, but only 10% of our exports go in the other direction.
I think everybody can fix their relationships with Russia when Russia stops punching its neighbors.
Can do better. And that's why it's my pleasure to announce today that Shaq Howe, Member of Parliament, trade practitioner, and geopolitical expert, will serve as chair of the Conservative Party Pacific Gateway Economic Engagement Caucus with the following mandate: develop a comprehensive conservative strategic plan for the Asia-Pacific. Develop policy.
So they haven't had this the whole time, or is this a new thing?
Policy ideas for maximizing our exports to the region, including by approving pipelines and LNG plants. Protect Canada's...
You can't do that, though. You don't have the power to do that. Oh my god, alright. Okay.
Security interests. Form a dedicated team of our Conservative shadow ministers to build out this policy. Support planning for future Conservative missions to the Indo-Pacific, and publish his findings in a comprehensive report by the end of this year. Shakao has a strong and consistent record in this area. He has led numerous cultural...
I'll take his word for it, I don't care.
Strategic and humanitarian missions to the region. He has engaged with China, Japan...
Well, so in Treaty is saying again, why put money into a finite resource? Can you make that investment work? And Feline's got a good point. Polyev already said that there's no investors in pipelines right now. So who the fuck is going to invest in the pipeline, my guy?
Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Cambodia, and Taiwan. He's also played a very important role in developing air links between Vancouver and the far
blah, blah, blah,
east
this guy's resume,
to deepen economic and tourism ties. Foundational shift in property, able to receive $100 million British Columbia home, seeing the Musqueam right 533 area. He signed on to this agreement with... Where is Mark Carney on this? This is a federal lawsuit.
Okay, here we go.
In place a 2018 directive that forbids federal lawyers from defending property rights in the Cowichan Appeal or anywhere else. This is a major failure of leadership. And by the way, where is Mark Carney on this? This is a federal lawsuit where the federal government is the defendant.
Mark Carney is not a lawyer. That's not what his job is. This man wants Mark Carney to personally overview everyone's federal taxes. This is not his job. Yeah, no, you silly pants is right. Oh my god, no. Oh, lordy.
And yet the federal prime minister has done and said nothing since August, while landowners don't know what their rights are, and many fear they're going...
That's their fault! It's your job to know your rights. It's your job to get a lawyer. You're the one who has to represent yourself in that shit. If the federal... Why are you complaining? God, he's complaining at both sides. He's like, where is Mark Carney in this lawsuit that's been going on since before he was prime minister? And also, if the federal government is the defendant, why are we complaining that the farmers don't know what their rights are? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh my God.
To lose their homes. That is why we as Conservatives are stepping up to fill the void that Mark Carney has left. I'm announcing...
There's not a void there. That's not a void. That's not what that is.
Today that I will be naming Teiko Van Popta as the chair of the Conservative Task Force on Property Rights, with a particular focus on the Cowichan ruling, the Musqueam Agreement, and other Aboriginal title disputes and negotiations. In this role,
I always get sketched out when the Conservatives decide they're gonna start fighting for or against Native American situations. I don't like to go through. If there's anything that the Native Americans have gotten good at, it's dealing with fucking bureaucratic legal bullshit. Alright? If anybody's fucking got... This is why Alberta's never gonna be able to separate. Because they would never be able to win the lawsuits that they would have to fucking go through with the Native American peoples of that area, because there's like a good... Alberta actually owns very little of Alberta, if you understand what I mean. But on top of that, like, yeah, if you guys want, we can look at some of these, but I don't think I have, like, the property right legal know-how to be able to dissect those in a I mean, some of the things I'll recognize, but to dissect those is just like a whole fucking... I need a whole nother Harvard degree.
Role, he will examine and bring to light the extent to which recent legal interpretations and federal arguments have eroded property rights and reconciliation. He will explore legislative and constitutional options necessary to protect property rights and home ownership. He will also build out the existing conservative policy on this, which includes putting property rights first in the Cowichan case by arguing that it has priority over all other titles and reversing the liberal current position which directs lawyers not to defend property rights. He will also put forward the argument that no further treaty should be
that doesn't sound right. My bullshit detector's going
signed
off.
That do not include explicit property rights protections.
This sounds, you know what this sounds like to me? I don't know, but this sounds very much like, oh, we're not going to argue freedom of speech because this isn't a question about freedom of speech. It's like, oh, well, we're not going to argue property rights. We're going to argue this instead. And that's a legal decision. That's a legal decision for lawyers to make, not for the prime minister to make. Maybe if the prime minister was a lawyer as opposed to an economist, sure, then maybe he'd want to step in on that more. But these are, yeah, none of the legal arguments I'm familiar with risk personal homes, right? Like, you're getting that fucking bullshit detecting going off too, right? Like, something about that doesn't sound quite right. I don't know the exact... I don't know the details of the exact case he's speaking of the two cases he mentioned. But, sometimes it's not bad that the federal government loses a legal case, though. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes the federal government needs to lose some of those cases. Where it's like... I'm not gonna say that they throw cases, but like sometimes it's just like, no, you don't want the federal government. The federal government doesn't want to even win this. You know what I mean? Because like, again, we're back to sometimes the legal conclusion is not the best conclusion. I get what you mean here. Like, when trying to argue for innocence, you might not want to try to prove actual innocence, is the burden is on the prosecutor. Yeah, exactly. Proving a negative might be difficult. This is one of those things that if the lawyers are choosing not to argue property rights, there's probably a fucking reason for it. It's not that they're not considering at all, or it wasn't something that they brought up, but they're like, actually, this is a stronger position, so we're gonna argue this instead of this. That's what it's sounding like to me. But then again, I also don't trust anything this fucking guy says at this point, even just based off of the numbers he's gotten wrong so far. But I'll have to look in the exact cases, perhaps.
Also, we'll be pushing for a parliamentary committee to examine all of these matters on an urgent basis. As a real estate and land development lawyer for over 30 years and a director of the Surrey Board of Trade and the downtown Surrey Business Improvement Area, no one is more qualified than Taco to take on this task. He's also a managing partner at a firm that's meant...
yeah, it makes sense if you want to have a lawyer make an argument for lawyer shit. Yeah, hire a lawyer. I don't know why you have to bloviate so much about it.
Before getting elected, which focuses on land-related legal matters in the Lower Mainland. And so, congratulations, Taco. I know you'll do a great job. Again, our mission is a Canada where hard work pays off.
I don't know dick shit about this guy, so
where people have affordable food and homes, where young people can actually own homes.
Slogans again.
It's where our streets are safe, our economy is strong. We want a Canada with stronger take-home pay, safer streets, solid borders, and a self-reliant nation. Thank you very much.
Take your drinks. He says it at the beginning, he says it again at the end. Q&A! All right. Before the Q&A starts. Pay attention. Oh my god, did you just give me the fucking fact from fiction? Oh, thank you. Bless your heart. Cowichan tribes and private property separating fact from fiction. Oh, thank you so much. I'll read through this and then see if I can put together something to chat about next time. So, thank you. Spanx! I greatly appreciate that. All right. So before he gets in the Q&A, I'll give us a quick break because he's gonna get to the Q&A. Go get your drinks. Go get a refill. I feel like this is where I'm gonna want to go get my alcoholic beverage. So I'm gonna prep for that. But I'll just give us a quick break and we'll be right back. Yeah, thank you. I will take a stretch. And then we'll get to his Q&A part. Let me know in the chat if you think he's going to answer any questions. All right? Then write a number of how many questions you think he's going to answer. Okay? Even if the answer is something you don't like, it has to still be an answer, though, and not a deflection. All right? Yeah, alright, we're back. Okay. This guy. Alright. Q&A. I got my beer. I'm ready. It was Final Fantasy X. You were right the first time. It's the fight with Seymour. Yeah, you had it right the first time. Alright. I'm drinking, Canadian Classic. Sleemans, because we represent here. Feel free to super chat towards our goal on YouTube. To feed my alcohol addiction. Alright. Let's go! Let's go.
On the question of the Canada-US deal, you've talked a lot about Canada needing to use its leverage. The provinces are using leverage by keeping American booze off the shelves. Do you think they should put it back on and remove this irritant that the US has expressed?
Well, first of all, I think we should focus on the big
Yeah, the United States, or like Pete Hoekstra, I think it was Pete Hoekstra, said something along the lines of like that the Canadians not having, or provinces not having, United States alcohol on the shelves is a trade negotiation irritant. All right. So, first question. Let's see if he fucking answers.
That the U.S. has expressed.
Well, first of all, I think we should focus on the big question here, which is
not the question she asked. Oh, him and Howard Lutnick. Yeah. Lutnick as well. Yeah. You're right. That's the other one.
That the American
Howard Nutlick.
After Mr. Carney squandered all of our leverage, by making a whole series of upfront concessions and getting nothing in return while he dragged out the matter.
What? What? So, I'm sorry, say that again?
After Mr. Carney squandered all of our leverage by
what?
Making a whole series of upfront concessions and getting nothing in return while he dragged out the matter.
I think he just fucking made that up. What? Well, Kuzma is currently still active. It's that the United States is just violating the agreement, which is illegal. And Canada withdrew our lawsuit for the time being because it was just going nowhere fast. So, you guys want prohibition? Wait. Jonkler and Slushy want prohibition? You want to ban alcohol in the United States? How well did that go last time? Banning alcohol doesn't work. That doesn't mean you should have less people drinking less. Like, I'm fine if that's what you want, if that's the direction you want to take your social construct of a country. But, like, prohibition is not the way to do it, right? Like, there's nothing to concede if there's no deal. Right, how are you conceding anything?
We've seen the Americans double tariffs on steel and aluminum. And
they've seen them go up and down and up and down and all over the place. You can't think of a deadlier drug than alcohol? Really? I can. Eat really fast. Really? You can't think of a deadlier drug than alcohol? Come on. Yeah, you can. You can. I believe in you. All right, chat. Quick, chat. Name a drug that's more deadly than booze. Fentanyl, cyanide, crack, mushrooms. Come on, you can think of something that's more deadlier than alcohol.
Triple them on lumber. So that is what happens when you squander leverage, as Mr. Carney has done.
No! What? No, please draw me a connecting point between point A and point B, sir. You're just non sequituring, and that doesn't answer the question.
Done. I don't think we should squander any more leverage after learning from Mr. Carney's mistakes. But
what leverage did he squander and how? Meth, good point. Meth is a good one.
Let's also focus on the reality that we're talking about 2.6 million Canadian jobs that could be ruptured if we don't get this right.
See, he learned a new word, and now he's just throwing the word rupture around everywhere like it fucking means anything. It doesn't. He's just using it as a buzzword. What mistakes? What did we learn? I don't know. What are these word choices? We don't know. Could be ruptured. Oh my god. Alcohol was one of the first things humans used to escape reality. And what citation needed you on that? I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's wrong, but I don't know if that's true. Like, I'm pretty sure people were fucking smoking shit pretty early on. And there were, like, plenty of, like... I mean, beer and wine are pretty old. So I don't think I'm not sure if you're right, but I'm not convinced. So if you have a citation on that, I'd love to know. Oh, fermented honey! Well, that's mead, isn't it? Isn't that mead? Probably some mushrooms first. Like, to me, it makes sense because you can, like, literally, some of those plants, you can just shove them in your mouth and it takes no fucking... Yeah, mushrooms and peyote. Yeah. Anyway. Was he saying something fucking insane? Sorry, go back. Go on.
On lumber. So that is what happens when you squander leverage, as Mr. Carney has done. I don't think we should squander any more leverage after learning from Mr. Carney's mistakes. But let's also focus on the reality that we're talking about 2.6 million Canadian jobs that could be ruptured if we don't get this right. That is the big focus.
Get Kuzma right? Is that what he means? Is he suggesting that if we do the Kuzma deal wrong, then the entire automotive sector will just be eliminated? Because that's not how that works. That's not how any of that works.
Focus, and not whether I don't think we need to spend 3 or 4 days debating whether we should drink bourbon or not. I think we should discuss whether 2.6 million Canadians are going to have their jobs, and the way to get those jobs.
Yeah, that's just fear-mongering. That's not how any of that works. That's just fear-mongering. Even if we don't have Kuzma anymore, there will still have to be trade agreements and negotiations that still have to take place, and that will take X amount of time. Like, these things don't just evaporate, which seems to be what he's implying, which is not how anything works. Oldest archaeological data evidence the relationship of Homo sapiens with psychoactive plants. A worldwide overview. Modern sophisticated archaeometric instruments are increasingly capable of detecting the presence of psychoactive plant sources in archaeological contexts, testifying the antiquity of human search for altered states of consciousness. The purpose of this article is to provide a general picture of these findings, covering the main psychoactive plant sources of the world and identifying the most ancient dates so far evidenced by archaeology. Okay, so what's the oldest one? Oh, here we go. Look at this. Oldest evidence. Beer at 11,000 BC. Hemp at 82,000 BC. 7,000 BC. So this one's the oldest, right? 11,000 BC for beer. Is there anything older than 11,000? Oh, yeah. Nope. 11,000. Wait, am I reading the numbers right? Yeah, neat article, right? I'll provide the article again. So you guys can check it out in your free time. Israel at 11,000 BC. Is that the oldest? Am I reading that correctly? Yeah, I think they're in order, right? 8,600. 2,100. Here's some AD ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 AD ones. The initial problem arises or remains of the plant, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it looks like beer was. Yeah, you got it right. Beer, specifically. At least in the table. Oldest evidence of anthropic psychoactive plant use. It doesn't matter if they're it doesn't matter if they're medicinal or not. No, beer's right. Beer's right. It doesn't have to be recreational. Nobody specified recreational. Anyway, feel free to check it out. Yeah, it says like ingredients and stuff. Feel free to check it out. Yeah, it looks like beer's the oldest. I'm disappointed that John Clare didn't have a citation, but that's okay. We found one.
Cured is to get a tariff-free trade deal with the U.S.
That's impossible. You're not going to have a zero tariff at all trade deal. Kuzma has tariffs in it as part of the fucking negotiation. So what he's asking for is not possible. You're not going to have a tariff-free trade deal. Doesn't exist.
The only one, by the way, who's presented a plan to get such a tariff-free trade deal. We need to get it done.
Oh, what does that mean? That didn't answer the question. So 1 for 1, swing and a miss.
Earlier last week, the Senate Human Rights Committee came up with a report on anti-Semitism. This was on Tuesday morning, where they recommended the...
No, you're not going to get a tariff-free trade deal between Canada and the United States. It's not going to happen. It's impossible.
...reinstating of a position for the envoy of anti-Semitism. Earlier last week, the Senate Human Rights Committee came up with a report on anti-Semitism. This was on Tuesday morning, where they recommended the reinstating of a position for the envoy of anti-Semitism, a position left vacant by Deborah Lyons last year. Tomorrow morning in Montreal, the government will announce $8.6 million of funding targeting the Black community and initiatives for the Black community across Canada in public In the public sphere, we've spoken in the past against such initiatives targeting gender, race, or other groups. What do you make of it, and what's your current stance now?
I just think after 11 years of liberal divisiveness.
I firmly believe that Pierre believes we should give away almost everything to secure a terror-free trade deal, regulations, command markets, and banking sector regulations. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me at all, actually.
Where they separate people by race, ethnicity, gender.
They separate people? What are you talking about? That's not how social anything works. No, my guy, no.
And every other possible dividing line. We've seen a more than 100% increase in hate-based violence.
You know what I should have put on? Hold on. Hold on. I got this. I got you guys. Hold on. I got you. Hold up. We need something for this. We're gonna start it right at the beginning. Dodgeball expert over here, Pierre Polyev. We're gonna fucking... I got 1 hour of silence, occasionally broken up by the dodgeball sound effect.
That continues under Mark Carney. What we need to do is actually lock up violent criminals who carry out the violence in the first place, stop terrorists and criminals from coming to our country through whatever.
When Justin Trudeau did the thing to stop the terrorists, you started telling people he was breaking the law.
We're now open and porous borders, and we need to start treating every Canadian as an individual, not judging them based on the race, the ethnicity.
Winner says Pierre Polyev is starting to lose me. I was so pumped after Rogan. Oh no. Maybe he should have Joe Rogan as his running mate.
The gender. We treat everybody based on their Canadian personal characteristics of hard work.
Personal characteristics. You mean like their sexual orientation? Or their gender identity? Those kinds of personal characteristics? Or their religious affiliation? Yeah, as if criminals aren't being imprisoned. Like, the fuck? Why does he immediately... Okay, I think this is a little bit telling. And you guys tell me if I'm, like, a little bit wrong about this. Is it not telling to you that somebody asked him about things that are, like, beneficial and outreach programs towards ethnicities, and he responded with crime? Is my racism bell ringing for anybody else? Is that just you immediately associated minorities as criminals, you fucking goober? No? Anybody else? Anybody else? Can we get bricks in the chat if you agree with me? Bricks in the chat, bricks in the chat. Canadian personal characteristic. What the fuck is a Canadian personal characteristic? Apparently it's hard work.
Decency and patriotism.
Patriotism? It's a Canadian fucking personal characteristic? Patriotism? Yeah, I don't... Is Pierre Polyev doing the Lois Griffin 9/11? Yeah.
I just realized I just made a mistake. I made a mistake. I was supposed to let my members have a quick word here. I will take all your questions, though. I just wanted to... there you go.
He didn't answer that question. We're gonna go 0 for 2.
There you go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I think this guy's cute already. I think this guy's adorable. I hope he doesn't say something terrible as soon as I hit play again.
My name is Chuck Au, MP for Richmond Centre Marlborough riding. I'm both honored and humbled by the assignment. This is a huge and important task. But fortunately, we are building on the strong conservative record on trade expansion and diversification. As mentioned...
Wait. The conservative position on trade expansion and diversification? You mean Carney's entire platform? Okay. He bravely ran away. It's okay, it's okay. He's supposedly coming back. He's also like looming in the background here. It's kind of making me uncomfortable. I don't know how it's making this guy feel, but I wouldn't like that. I'm probably shorter than this guy too. I'd be like here. I'm tiny.
During the time when Mr. Harper was the Prime Minister, Canada's trade agreement with other countries increased from 5 to 50. So we are building on this track record. In the weeks to come, I will be working with my colleagues and in consultation with the stakeholders to develop a policy framework, a plan, and an implementation strategy for us to move Canada's economy forward. Thank you.
I mean, if they have a strategy, I'd love to see it. So that's fine with me.
Good, thank you. I'm very pleased that the Conservative Party under the...
This guy looks like he should have a mustache. You ever seen somebody who looks like they should have a mustache? This guy looks like he should have a mustache. What is it with quantity of quality with these guys? I don't know.
Leadership of Mr. Polyev is taking a very clear and strong stance on private property rights. I spent my career as a real estate development lawyer taking indefeasible title to the bank. We always thought that private property rights were rock solid, sacrosanct, never to be messed with. What the title says, the title is. This is one of the...
Yeah, you shouldn't view anything like that, I don't think. Things change.
Principles on which our modern economy is established. Yet today, that has now been called into question. We are all very shocked at the Supreme Court of British Columbia decision in the Cowichan Tribes case, where for the first time in Canadian history, a court declared Aboriginal title on privately held lands. That's never been done before. It is not necessary for...
Interesting. So the Conservatives are mad that Aboriginal people got their land back. I'm sorry, I am not going to believe a word on a real estate lawyer, for they are often in cahoots with property developers and not with actual people. I think a reasonable skepticism is okay.
For reconciliation, it puts reconciliation in the wrong direction, and I'm very pleased that this task force has now been tasked with coming up with solutions, coming up with recommendations, coming up with good policies to protect private property rights. Thank you.
All right, yeah, so, yeah, no, I'm with Templar on this. Sus. People love appealing to law over historical claims. Yeah, no, I'm with Templar on this. Yeah, he thinks the wrong direction is moving away from oppression. Okay. Alright, Polyev's back. Of course the dodgeball sound fucking... as soon as Polyev comes back, the dodgeball fucking sound goes off.
You guys are a very excitable bunch today. Wow.
I would bet at least a nickel that it was government land that had private developers siphoning the resources somehow. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know which one he is referring to specifically. Polyev brought up two, but I don't know which one. That guy didn't specify what he was talking about. We want to talk about a waste of fucking land? Golf.
Qui ne sont pas nécessairement appréciés de la part
Golf is better online anyway.
de vos collègues du Bloc québécois et de certains anglais.
Bloc québécois. I'm skipping the French.
Conversations with the Americans. Here are the starting point.
Okay, I don't know if he answered the French question or not, so we're going to put that one in NA. Not applicable.
If tariffs are the starting point for any conversations with the Americans, is it worth going forward and baking in those tariffs for another 5-year period?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I don't understand the question either. Baking in what tariffs?
The Americans have made clear that tariffs are the baseline for any trade agreement they sign with any partner nation, friendly or not. Is it worthwhile for Canada to go into those negotiations if tariffs are a starting point? Are the entry fee to getting a new CUSMA, is it worth going into those negotiations?
Okay, I understand the question now. Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, valid.
Well, I understood from the Prime Minister's remarks that he said that there wasn't an entry fee. So I don't know if you heard that.
The Americans keep saying that
There's a difference between Canada not having an entry fee and the United States having an entry fee. Jesus Christ! I don't hate conservatives. I don't dislike all conservative policy. You need a different guy. Please. Please! Also, yeah, not an answer. He's bickering. He's not answering.
Tariffs are a prerequisite for any deal, and all of their previous deals have included tariffs.
So how is Polyev gonna get a tariff-free deal if the tariffs are a fucking prerequisite to any deal? Oh, he's not? Oh, it's almost like he's bullshitting you. You're not gonna get a deal with the Americans, and you're definitely not gonna get a deal with Donald Trump and his team without tariffs involved at all. There's no way you would get that. Look at his face.
Do you think you could get a deal that does not include tariffs?
Yes. And
Why?
I've already presented my plan on that.
That's
you build
like-
up your leverage.
He answered a fucking question. That was a, do you think you could get a deal? Yes. He at least answered one question. So he's 3-1. 3-1 so far.
And you make it clear that the
What
Americans only
leverage?
get what they want if we get what we want. What do they want? They've made it
What do you think we are doing?
very clear. They need critical minerals. We have 10 of the 12 NATO-defined critical minerals that are necessary to fight a modern war. We have the aluminum that goes into fighter jets. We have the tungsten that goes into...
So how do you build up that leverage if you're acknowledging we already have those things? How are they not applicable as leverage already? Good God. Yeah, PP Jackson asked about Hassan. I don't fucking know. I don't care about Hassan Piker.
armor-piercing equipment. We have the germanium that goes into night vision technology. The list goes on. What I've said is we would fashion a strategic reserve of those
You would fashion a strategic reserve of those minerals.
minerals plus oil, and we
oil.
would make it legally available
Okay.
at market rates to countries that have tariff-free trade with us, so that
Any country? Any country? Does that include Russia? Does that include China? Yeah, what does legally available mean? He didn't say drones, what a noob. Yeah, I know, right? What a weirdly specific, non-specific list. Like, he's almost got something put together, but it's not quite a fully formed, it's like a little bit malformed. It's not quite, he's got the concepts of a plan. Concepts of a concept. Like, fucking what? He wants foreign companies to come in, mine our resources, and leave Canadians impoverished. That might be the result of what happens. He's very... He's very corporate. Does that make sense? Especially if you look at his predecessor, right? Stephen Harper, when Stephen Harper was prime minister, was very corporate focused, and it ended up fucking a lot of Canadian resources over. Which is, keep in mind that one of the only reasons Stephen Harper got into the position that he got to be prime minister, was because and stay prime minister was because he formed a coalition and made a conglomerate of conservative parties in Canada into one obelisk, right? One fucking group, right? So Carney already has China mining resources in Canada. So you think that's a good thing? You think that right? Am I understanding correctly? Sweden building fighter jets. Yeah, the more than just Americans build fighter jets, right? We don't have to only... Thank you for your service, Dodgeball Sound. We salute you, Dodgeball Sound. Yeah, casually trading away military resources. Yeah, and not... Yeah, especially with the way the United States is behaving. This doesn't build a lot of confidence for, like, an independent Canada. Because that's one of the things that he says, right? He says in his list of slogans, one of them is about Canada being independent. Yeah, I'm just willing to take idiot tube at where they're at, right? I'm not sure how true that is about China mining our resources, but if it is true, if he's already doing it, then you're agreeing with Carney and Pierre Poilievre in saying that that's what we should allow, right? Invest in Canada, not just extract. That's a really good way to put it, Templar. We want to invest in Canada, not extract from Canada. That's a great way to put it.
That they would have the security that, God forbid, if we go into a war, they can arm themselves. I would also...
What? They're threatening war with us. Why would we want to give them resources to kick our ass with? What are you talking about? You want to give them the fucking, God forbid, the United States go... They're already in a war, my guy. They're in a war with fucking Iran right now. Or do you want to talk about what if they go to war with Greenland? What do you mean? Oh my fucking God. Yeah, it's a loaded question. I found that some of the easiest ways to talk to conservatives is to meet them where they're at and hypothetically be like, all right, let's say what you're saying is true and accurate. What does that mean? Right? What do we expect? What do we want to see? Pierre says it's time to sign the 52nd state treaty. Yeah, I mean, yeah, what is that? What is that besides just becoming a part of America? Just becoming fucking Americans' workhorse.
Also put forward an auto plan that has a formula to massively increase production in Canada and in the United States, which is the opposite of what's happening in both countries right now. The Americans are losing.
The Americans literally said that they were competing with us, and so they attacked us economically. What?
Losing auto production because there's a terrible trade formula. I put forward...
You mean like the tariffs that are being paid for by the Americans? Those tariffs?
Formula that will make the Americans and the Canadians produce more automobiles, which means that both of us get what we want. I've published these plans.
This is Polly in Trump's pocket, is who this is.
In painstaking detail.
I will remind you guys that it was not long ago, or not long before this conference, this fucking conversation that we're watching right now, he traveled to Texas to go talk to oil tycoons.
And by the way, I haven't seen anything analogous from Mark Carney, who's been Prime Minister for a year and who was elected because we were told he knew how to negotiate these things. So it seems like Mark Carney has waved the white flag and accepted permanent job-destroying tariffs on aluminum.
What? How the fuck do you get that? That's just bullshit.
Aluminum, steel, autos, and lumber. And that will mean a massive...
If he... All right, let's pretend he's right. Let's do that thing. Accepted tariffs. Yeah, thank you, Dodgeball. Accepted Perfect. Accepted tariffs. Accepted tariffs. Accepted tariffs. Accepting tariffs would mean that he signed a deal that included those tariffs. He has not. You've been complaining that he has in fact not signed a deal. Therefore, he has not accepted those tariffs. Period. End of sentence. These are contradictory claims. Poilievre is talking out of both sides of his mouth, right? In one hand, he's saying that Carney's not accepting any deal, and then is turning around and saying that he's folded. And it's like, where? What are you talking about? You're making this up. Yeah, tariffs are imposed. There are tariffs that are accepted. You want to know which tariffs those are? Those are the ones that are written in Kuzma. Like the dairy tariff that people in the United States like to complain about without having any understanding or concept of what the fuck those mean. Clicked on the stream and the first thing I heard was the dodgeball. Perfect. Could we make it so that anytime somebody comes out to have a conversation with the press are all given dodgeballs? And can we make that a rule? If you dodge a question, you can dodge a ball.
Massive rupture of jobs. He wants to rupture jobs. I want tariff-free trade.
How would tariff-free trade not damage the job sector? Can you explain that to me? Can somebody walk me through how would that work? How do you do that?
You said that you don't think we should spend the next 3 or 4 days debating around whether we should be drinking bourbon or not. I just want to clarify.
Sure.
Does that mean you think it's time for premiers to put American booze back on the shelves?
No, I haven't said that.
But what is you think you're fine
That's
with
not answering the question.
the premiers keeping the American booze off the shelves?
Sure. At the end of the day, we're talking about my point is, we're talking about a $700 billion, nearly $1 trillion trade deal. Okay? So what I'm saying is, let's get focused on the real issue, which is that a fifth of our economy depends on this trade relationship. We need to focus on the real issues of getting tariffs removed on steel, aluminum.
Right, but you're dodging the question. The Americans are saying that our not consuming their bourbon is a factor in negotiating this $700 billion deal. So if that's the case, then what are you fucking what are you fucking thinking? Right? So are you saying the Americans are being petty and need to shut the fuck up? Or are you saying that we should put the booze back on the shelves just to stroke the ego of the Americans, because doing so will definitely have a big effect on negotiating this $700 billion deal? Either way, you're saying that Americans are petty. I mean, realistically, if you put bourbon back on the shelves, nobody's gonna fucking buy it.
Lumber and autos, and getting back to tariff-free trade. That's what our focus should be. And I think the Prime Minister should get away from all of the theatrics, the YouTube videos.
The Prime Minister is not the one fucking doing the fucking... It's the premiers that are doing that, not the federal government. The federal government doesn't have a mandate that says don't put American booze on the shelves. It's something that the premiers are doing in their provinces with their province fucking power. It's not the federal government.
And the distractions, and tell us how he's going to achieve that.
That is literally what he's talking about in the YouTube. Don't be fucking petty about him being on the internet or not. The internet is a totally valid way to reach an audience. Don't pretend it isn't. You should know better than that, Pierre Polyev, Mr. Happened to accidentally back all the Russian and India paid influencers. Dave, calm down. It's okay. Don't panic. Dave. Shh. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Donald Trump isn't the problem. Mark Carney is. Can you tell us how? I want to know how. Stop fucking kicking them out right away. You're wrecking my fun.
What do you think of the Ethics Committee recommendation that the Prime Minister should have to sell their portfolio since a blind trust is not true divestment?
I agree. I mean, we've never seen a Prime Minister so conflicted as Mark Carney. He has ownership.
Huh? Sorry, I missed the question. Say the question again. I was busy looking at something.
What do you think of the Ethics Committee recommendation that the Prime Minister should have to sell their portfolio since a blind trust is not true divestment?
I agree.
That's an interesting question, right? I think that's a valid question. I don't think it needs to necessarily be about Mark Carney, right? It needs to be about the Prime Minister, right? So you can use Mark Carney as an example. You can use Harper as an example. Both are valid examples. And say, should it be sell their portfolio as opposed to a blind trust, right? So that would mean that I don't know. Currently, blind trust is legal and the accepted way, yeah. So, Mark Carney hasn't done anything wrong by not selling anything. There's not, a moral or legal question here. But it's an interesting, discussion that could be had.
I agree. I mean, we've never seen a Prime Minister so conflicted as Mark Carney. He has...
Yeah, that's not what the question is, so I'm counting this as dodging the question.
Ownership of a company that has been described as Canada's single biggest tax dodger. So how is it that...
So can I get a citation for that? Hold on. Canada's single biggest, I want a citation for this, tax dodger. You know that you can legally not pay a lot of taxes? Wow, the only citation for this is fucking conservative outlets. Like, this is the one that comes up, man. I can't see it. It fucking won't even let me look at the website. That's fucking so funny. Look at it goes to True North Wire, and then it's like, sign in. No. Of premium WordPress. Okay. All right. If we want, we can look at the highest income tax filers in Canada. If you would like to see that. Ta-da! 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 So yeah, I'm gonna citation needed that shit.
That he could possibly pass a budget or another amendment.
I don't think it's a good ethical question, but I do think it's a good policy question, right? So I think it's a good policy question to ask, should we do this or this, right? Now, it's not a question about ethics, right? It's not an ethical question. It is a question about policy. You're going to pick this way, you're going to pick this way. Unless you're going to make an argument that one is more ethical than the other, in which case you could make an ethical argument, but I don't think it's an ethical question. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? So I think it's a valid question. I think Polyev spinning it to direct it at Mark Carney inappropriately is bad form, but it's a decent question. So like if he wanted to take this question honestly, right, and not just use it to try and smear Carney for doing something he never did, then I would apply it to myself. He wants to be prime minister, right? Appropriate response to him being prime minister. If he wants to be prime minister, he should make the argument about himself and say, all right, if this then that for me, if this then that for me. Here's what this would mean if I became prime minister and how it would apply to me one way or the other and why I would prefer one thing or apply this to anyone elected. Right? And you have to, right? You have to apply to everybody. This man wants to be elected, so applying it to himself would be a reasonable way and a way to seem like a fucking human. You know what I mean? To be relatable and be like, hey, listen, I want to be prime minister. So if we were to change this law, here's how it would affect me, yay or nay. Right? That would be the way to fucking do.
Amendment to the Income Tax Act in the interests of Canada when he knows that his personal financial interests depend on offshore tax havens.
No. Citation needed. Changing the tax rules in Canada wouldn't fucking protect from offshore tax havens. Like Ireland. That's not how that works. God, this fucking
come
guy.
At the expense of the Canadian people. He has Brookfield sitting at the table when his ministers are negotiating in China. Who's he negotiating for? Brookfield or Canadians?
What do you think a blind trust is, first off? What do you think a blind trust is? He's mad that they're mad that they're not doing enough fucking capitalism, and then when the capitalist does capitalism, they're mad. Because conservatives always hate tax havens for the rich. I know, right? I know.
I mean, frankly, I have to be honest, I am stunned.
I love it as I have to be honest. Donk! Do you have to be? Do you? Implying that you haven't been honest the whole time? Fucking Christ. Yeah, it's suspiciously close to slander. Yeah, he's riding a line and he knows he's riding that line.
When his ministers are negotiating in China, who's he negotiating for? Brookfield or Canadians? I mean, frankly, I have to be honest. I am stunned.
It's not even him. Did you hear that? Hold on, I'm going to play this again. Listen very closely to what he says. All right? Listen very closely.
At the table when come at the expense of the Canadian people. He has Brookfield sitting at the table when his ministers are negotiating in China. Who's he negotiating for? Brookfield or Canadians?
Did you hear the bait and switch? He has Brookfield sitting at the table when his ministers are in China. Who is he negotiating for? Brookfield or Canadians? If he's not there and his ministers are there, there is a degree of separation between him, his ministers, and the negotiations. Right? And then Brookfield being in a blind trust. So is Brookfield not allowed to do anything while Mark Carney is Prime Minister? Because then what's the point of the blind trust then? Are you suggesting that a blind trust is ineffective? Because if you want to argue that the blind trust is ineffective, that's fine. You can make that argument. But then make that argument. Yeah, I'm just asking questions, but all of my questions are heftily in the land of I'm actually accusing you of shit.
I mean, frankly, I have to be honest. I am stunned by how little scrutiny there has been of his personal financial interests and how.
Because we've already done it. And it's a done and dusted issue. You just want it to be a bigger deal than it is to everybody because nobody fucking actually cares and it's a nothing burger.
How they run in direct opposition to the national interests of this country.
Just being devil's advocate, Carney could instruct the ministers. Yeah, he could. He could instruct the ministers. That is certainly possible. Keep in mind, though, that that's not the same as his appointed cabinet. Right? The people who are working in for the federal government right now are not all fucking liberals. The people doing the negotiating are not all fucking liberals. Right? The government is multifaceted. Right? So if he did, what do you think would happen? Does Pierre not understand the definition of the word blind? Yeah. Bold words from a man actively avoiding scrutiny.
And I'm also stunned that the Prime Minister has used legalese to try and keep profiting himself at the.
You mean he followed the law? And was like, he made all of his assets known ahead of the required time? God, you're such a goober. This was a year ago.
Expense of the public interest, rather than doing the honorable thing, which is to divest himself completely, sell all of his assets, and
What? Sell all of his assets?
Put it into a fully blind trust.
He's already put his shit in a blind trust. Oh my God, sell all of your assets and put them into a blind trust? You can't do both! No! So he's like, Carney, do the thing you already did. Blah. Yo, is legalese bad? Then why did you start a group to use legalese on property rights? Oh my God, cannot sell and put in a blind trust. I mean, theoretically you could, but it wouldn't be blind to you anymore. It'd be blind to whoever you sold it to. Oh my God. He did. Yeah, no, he did. Yeah. Carney put all of his stuff into a blind trust and made all of it fucking available for everybody to see ahead of the necessary time that you need to do it by. There's a time frame. And so you're like, okay, well, when you're appointed, you have to make sure that this is done by X time. And Carney had it done ahead of time. You know what else Carney has? His fucking security clearance. When he already jumped through all the hoops and did all the rigmarole. So Oh God.
Or have you asked for a meeting with Ambassador
I have met with
Haseman?
him, yes.
And did you brief
How come somebody is not asking him fucking... I feel like the question to follow up would be, how do you sell all your assets and put them in a blind trust at the same time? Why isn't anybody asking him that? Because it's not a debate. Because they're trying to get real answers to real questions instead of just sassing the shit out of this man. All right, then he answered another question, so he's like, what, 2 for 6, I think, so far?
brief him on your meetings in the United States?
I didn't brief him on that. I have briefed the Prime Minister. He and I had a very long conversation after I returned. But
did you get scolded for trying to sell Canada out to Texas oil tycoons? I hope so.
I'm happy to chat with the ambassador anytime.
Sur la gestion de l'offre, vous avez suggéré tantôt que votre action était
Oh, hey, look, it showed up on the fucking thing.
Est-ce qu'on pourrait juste rester comme ça?
On a une main d'œuvre et la.
I actually understand French better when reading it than I do hearing it. I'm still skipping it though. Sorry, I'm not good enough.
Do that. I don't think that it.
The Conservatives could lose their official status in the Senate by the end of next year. Would you call on the Prime Minister to appoint more Conservative senators?
I think he should do that. I don't think that.
I think he should do that. So that's not even. So yes, but you're not answering directly.
The Senate is not currently a reflection of the Canadian people. 41% of Canadians, a record number for 40 years, voted.
So you have a conversation with the Prime Minister, but didn't you say you couldn't ask him questions? Yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
Conservative in the last election. That's well over 8 million Canadians. Again, a record-smashing number. And that should be
record smashing. We got the most votes. We had the biggest numbers. We had the most people.
elected in both chambers.
Status means like recognized as a party. So like, how do I explain this for Americans? I'm trying to think of a political parallel, and there kind of isn't one. So like official status in Canada means that you aren't, how do I explain this? So like official status is whether or not you're allowed to use the photocopier. Like that's legit actually one of the rules. So like if your party doesn't have enough seats in it, or like isn't holding enough seats in Parliament, you don't get official status. And when you don't have official status, it means that you're not like able to access. Yeah, you're not authorized to like do some things, and some of those things are using the photocopier. So like it's like that. That's the best way I can think of explaining it.
Do you think the Prime Minister publicize your strategy of what you think the negotiations with the United States should look like? Are you telling us that you believe the Canadian government should publicly state in front of all of us and make public its strategy for these negotiations? I'm just trying to understand what you keep saying.
Oh, good question. Yeah.
Mr. Carney hasn't done this, but you have done this. Is that an appropriate way to approach negotiations?
What I've said is he should at least tell us what his goals are. We don't even know what.
We already know what the goals are. That's just a lie. The goals are to get the best deal for Canadians. That's literally the goal. To get the best deal for Canadians. He said that multiple times. He said that for over a year. So that's just a fucking lie.
His goal is. Do you?
That also doesn't answer the question.
What is his goal? He says he wants a rupture.
To get the best deal for Canadians. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. I don't dislike conservatives. I don't disagree with all their policy. This fucking guy makes you all look really, 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 really fucking stupid. Yeah, he's literally complaining that fucking Mark Carney made a video on YouTube stating the things that he's also now claiming that Prime Minister never stated. It's literally in the video he's bitching that he did. Like, you understand how incompetent you sound when you say such blatantly incorrect shit? Like, you should know this.
With the U.S. Does that mean he wants an end to the CUSMA?
Kuzma, stop saying it wrong!
That trade with the U.S. is a weakness. Does that mean he doesn't want to remove the tariff?
Not all trade with the U.S. That's not what he said.
To get our steel, aluminum, autos, and lumber going to the U.S.? We don't know. Has he even set a goal to eliminate those tariffs altogether? I don't know. When was the last time he sat down with the president and said, I want the tariffs removed? We don't know. I don't think anybody has any...
Right, why would we know that? Why would we know that? He says regularly, we want the tariffs removed. He says that all the time.
Clue what his goals are. And in fact, what I'm pointing to is the staggering contradictions we see in the span of a week. You know, where he, at the one...
They're not contradictions, we already went over it.
On one hand says trade with the U.S. is a weakness, and then 3 days later says that he's going to have a mutually beneficial partnership with them. Where he says he wants a rupture with the United States, and then a few days later says that we are stronger together. Which is it?
Should the Prime Minister be trying to...
Not contradictory statements. Even when you misrepresent them, they're still not contradictory statements.
Should be traveling? Should you think he should travel to Washington, try and sit down with the president again on these issues?
I think what we've got to focus on is results.
I would love to watch Carney sit down again in the White House with the president and look at his fucking face. It would be memey as fuck. Is it useful? Should he do it? Probably not. Probably no on both. But is it funny for me personally? Yes.
This is a prime minister who's I've never seen him, frankly, a prime minister get so much media attention for meetings.
Oh, he's jealous.
Councils, committees, new agencies that he's created, but who has done so little in actually delivering results for real people. So I think we need to...
I don't see how that's the case, and you're also not answering the question.
To deliver actual results by getting, for example,
like a train? Like having a train. Would having a train count as a result? Trains? Trains. Trains? Tax cuts? 2 tax cuts? What about the change to the GST cut? The grocery affordability thing? What about that? What about those? What about the 13% increase in military? Does that count? Does the 13% increase in recruitment for our military count as a result? Does reaching our 2% NATO goal count as a result? How do those things not count as results? If you don't think that counts as a result, why and how? Can you please explain?
Free trade, using our leverage to put an end to steel, aluminum.
I don't think this dude knows what our leverage even is. You want to know what Canadians' greatest leverage is? It's spite. It's the fact that we don't need a federal mandate to ban shit for us. We just stop buying it.
Auto, lumber tariffs, and get our economy going again.
Our economy is still going. It hasn't not been going. Our economy had one of the fastest bounce backs from COVID than anybody else. Same within 2008 financial crisis. Canada has a habit of thriving in crises.
We'll walk this thing, wait for the midterms, and push it out, which seems to be what the government is signaling it's trying to do.
Yeah, waiting for the midterms is a fine idea. It's not even like a waiting it out. It's just a matter of we have. So the way Kuzma works is it comes up for a renegotiation every, I think, 5 years. And so all you need to do by a certain time is indicate that you want to continue the deal, or you want to continue Kuzma by a certain date. And so what they might do is they just might wait till the last day to actually say that. So, yeah, wasn't he complaining about high inflation? Yeah. Yeah. If the economy wasn't going, there would be deflation. He doesn't know what deflation is.
At the end of the day, I think he should go have a conversation with the people in Windsor who are losing their jobs in the mold-making sector. He should go talk to the steel workers in Hamilton and in Sault Ste. Marie who are losing...
He was literally just in Hamilton. We literally watched him there. We also watched him in Brantford. You think that... How far do you think Hamilton is from Brantford, you guys? Look, we gotta get up Google Maps again. You want to know where you know where Windsor is now. Now that you know where Windsor is, right? Windsor's right here. Well, that's Sarnia, sorry. Where the fuck is Windsor? Windsor, come back! Windsor, come back! Where's Detroit? Did I go to the wrong side? Oh yeah, it's down here. There we go. There's Windsor. How far away do you think... I'm gonna put this on. Go into map instead of satellite. How far away do you think Brantford is? There's Brantford. He was literally just in Brantford talking about trains. There's Brantford. And what was the other one? Brampton. There's Brampton. He was talking about trains in Brampton. Where do you think Hamilton is? It's right here. My guy. Dealing with the automotive sector deals with more than just one fucking city. And yes, Windsor is going to get hit hard because of Windsor. And the decisions Windsor has made.
Their jobs, or the lumber workers in towns that are literally being emptied out, and find out.
Where? Which one? Name one town. Name one town.
If those people think that his strategy is doing well, it might be a good political strategy for him. Might be a very good political.
I don't think you should be fucking suggesting anybody on political strategy, my guy. You have nosedived. You had a 40-point lead and you fucking blew it. And now he has a majority. My guy, you should not be giving fucking advice on this. You do not want to have this conversation. Holy moly.
Strategy for him, but clearly the Prime Minister would not want to put a personal political strategy ahead of the national interests or the interests of workers. No.
You mean like you? Oh.
Sir, you had a lot of complaints about the Bank of Canada when they jacked up interest rates. They've lowered them faster than the U.S. Inflation is, the interest rates are lower. So you also at one point suggested the Bank of Canada governor should be fired. You can Google the list of nations who fired the central bank chiefs. It's like Zambia, South Sudan, Iran, Egypt. What does it say about your economic education that you want to join that kind of club?
Holy fuck! Fucking savage ass question. He has no economic education. Short answer. 0. None. He's got as much fucking economic education as I do. Nothing. Pew 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 pew.
That's just false. So if I
What?
could, your comments are just false. What does it say?
What about them are false? I'm sorry, did Egypt not fire their bank governor? Which part's false?
About my academic education? Well, I'll tell you, my education is in predicting what actually comes to pass. So
So does mine! I have 3 certificates from Harvard about prediction. That says nothing about fucking economics! Guys, it's okay. I rolled the bones, my guys. That's what we should do with economics. This is the answer. That's economic answers. Look. We got the fucking, what even is this? We got Quetzalcoatl on a coin. We got the Queen of England. We got Queen Elizabeth on a coin. And we got the number 47 on a coin. And that's our economic strategy, guys. Good job. Holy fuck! The bones!
So back in 2020, Mark Carney and I made predictions.
No, don't cease, desist.
You can see them. They're on tape. Mark Carney said that COVID would lead to deflation.
COVID did lead to deflation.
Right before the worst inflation in 4 decades.
You know those things are not mutually exclusive, right? Because there are different factors in different areas in which something is... Yeah, he swapped economic for academic. Yeah, he did, because he's a dishonest fuck. You can have deflation in some areas and inflation in other areas and have both of those things be true at the same time. And so what?
I said we would have inflation, and ultimately was proven right by the facts. I'm not finished. Then I said
yeah,
we should...
rebound effects. Again, like I showed you before, does that look like deflation to you? Does this look like deflation to you? Yes or no? 1 in the chat for yes, 2 in the chat for no. Does this look like deflation to you? Does it look like a deflation in numbers? Imagine that. I'm not finished. I didn't hear anyone interrupt. Yeah, he's just being a weirdo.
should not print money because it would drive up the cost of everything. Mark Carney openly advised the United Kingdom and Canada to print cash. What did we get?
I'm not sure if he advised Canada. He was the governor of the Bank of England at the time, so saying he advised Canada might be a stretch, but sure.
We got the worst inflation. We got twice as many people at food banks. In just 7 years, we've doubled food bank lineups. A catastrophic prediction. I also said we would have a housing crisis.
No, because there's a difference between... Never mind. This is already too complicated for Pierre Polyev. Let's let him keep going.
In 2020, what did we get? The highest housing costs in the G7. The only country...
And I would like to remind you, 1, those numbers are inaccurate, and 2... his statement isn't accurate, and 2... go get me a list of Pierre Poilievre's voting record and show me when he was housing minister to now, show me how many times he's voted for or against housing relief or making housing more affordable. Yeah, he's completely ignoring what would happen if they did what he said as opposed to what they did do.
Country that came even close was the UK. Why? Because Mark Carney, as governor of the Bank of England, printed so much money that he caused a housing crisis in that country. So,
yeah, Mark Carney caused the housing crisis in the UK by himself. Is he also responsible for the global housing crisis that we're seeing across the fucking planet? Oh my god.
I think we should judge qualifications based on actual results. And
I agree. So you were housing minister, and our housing has been in a downward spiral ever since you were housing minister. What does that say about you? We should judge based off of results and based off of predictability.
who was proven right on all of the issues of the last 10 years.
Thank you so much for the follow. Enjoy your assigned brick.
On carbon taxes, oil and gas production, pipelines.
Incorrect, incorrect, and incorrect. The Liberals built a pipeline. He ignores the fact that the Liberals built a pipeline. Trudeau got fucking slammed for building that pipeline.
Money printing, inflation, housing. I have been right. And Mr. Carney has been...
See, Cedars got it. COVID shutdown caused deflation. Economic stimulus in response to the deflation caused inflation. Correct. So the stimulus was there to prevent a massive fucking crash and act as a cushion. And then an inflation happened when COVID stopped. So you look, again, you can look, this is labor. I'm showing you labor, right? So when this came and bounced back up, it's still been crawling its way back to like what you would expect would be average between 60 and 70, right? 60 and 60, well, we can call it 60 and 62, right? But also, when you do that, there's other factors that need to be considered. And like keeping housing affordable by passing acts on housing affordability that Pierre Poilievre almost every time voted against. So what do you want if you're not going to do anything about the inflation and then turn around and say the inflation is a problem?
With my Ottawa, Greater Ottawa...
No. Stop.
His colleagues.
Wrong. And I say that with great humility. Thank you.
I'm always right. I say that with the greatest humility. Shut up.
Pendant la fin de semaine, on va publier nos demandes,
French.
mais en général, on veut qui
sectors affected. To that end, would you support, in the meantime, more
continue. Je vais avoir plus de spécifiques dans une lettre qu'on va publier pendant la fin de semaine. Merci.
To that end, would you support, in the meantime, more bailouts for the sectors affected by, like, say, the 232 tariffs? You referenced, for example, the mold makers in Windsor who are seeing their costs be
Yeah, what would
jacked
you
up.
do about it?
Accepting that
You're gonna
trade
give them
deals
more
do
money?
take a long time to negotiate, these
Yes.
tariffs will not be lifted overnight. What is the today?
Yeah, you can't expect trade deals in 1 year. Like that's not a reason, especially with if you don't already have deals with these countries, you cannot expect negotiating a deal for a country to be done within 1 year. That's not a reasonable expectation.
Response that you think is feasible in the context of the deficit and government spending?
Look, we'll have to look at everything on a case-by-case
So he
basis.
doesn't have an answer. He doesn't have a fucking answer. He's like bitching about what are you gonna do? What do you think should be done about the fucking Windsor people you keep bringing up? And he's like,
we cannot build an economy on bailouts alone. Every time we're forced to do a bailout, ultimately what happens is you're taking money from every other industry and concentrating it in one industry.
Jason is right. The working from home thing.
Albeit a deserving one.
No, he has no clue.
A bailout economy means that
Wrong.
every day we're getting poorer.
Bailout economy.
What we need is an open, free enterprise economy with low taxes, fast permits, and international free trade. That's how we create a productive paycheck economy.
How? How? In what way? Give me the details. He doesn't have the details. He doesn't.
Acting irrationally. I mean, the
can't
things
control
you've
that.
described are rational, right? Critical minerals,
Exactly.
tariff-free autos. The Americans.
If you can't control that and you acknowledge you can't control that, how do you guarantee you get a deal? How do you get a deal at all? I feel like Pierre Poilievre likes to ignore the fact that Kuzma already exists, which means we already have a deal with the United States, and they're just violating the deal.
have said they're going to find their critical minerals elsewhere and that they're going to make all their cars at home. What happens if this is just a pathological desire for tariffs? What does Canada do in that situation?
We have to focus on what we can control. Nobody can control President Trump. After running an entire election on controlling Trump, Prime Minister Carney went on to admit that he can't
When the fuck did he say that? He never said that. That's just a lie.
control them at all. What we can control is the things we do here at home.
You literally said you'd be able to negotiate a deal with 0 tariffs. How?
We repeal the anti-development laws to get our mines digging to accumulate
There's no such thing as an anti-development law.
those critical minerals. The Americans need those minerals, and they can't get them anywhere else. You know, President
Like
Trump's
what?
voters
Name one.
who drive pickup trucks are paying effectively a tax on the Ford F-150 because it's made out of Canadian aluminum. You cannot make a Ford F-150 without Canadian aluminum.
It is not our job to protect the Americans.
It is the tariff on the aluminum is a tax on the Ford F-150, the single most popular truck in America for 40 years. We can use that as leverage. I've also gone.
What do you mean? Oh my fucking lord. I don't. And how is Carney not using that as leverage then?
Spoken to the Americans in my speech in Detroit to the American people about how we can have a tariff-free auto pack. He wants to have manufacturing jobs back in America. Let's sign on to an auto pack that's bigger and better than the 1965 auto pack. He gets more.
Yeah, admittedly, we can probably have a better auto pack than whatever was signed in 1965. It's been enough years, we can probably revisit that and make something better and new, but like what, dude?
Auto production, but we get more auto production. So let's.
How? What are you talking about? That doesn't make any fucking sense. How do we both get more auto production? How? Tell Elmo! Tell Elmo! How?
Focus on what we can control here at home, and that is the best chance we have.
Oh, you mean like what Carney says? we can't control the United States. We can only control what we do at home. Therefore, we should build Canada and build Canadians and use our own resources to build and trade with other people and diversify that thing. Oh.
Of getting tariff-free trade abroad. All right, thanks very much, everyone.
Nobody said that the trade had to be tariff-free. This is just moving the goalposts.
Go. Thank you.
He did a peace sign! What a goober.
Did a rolling die.
He's such a goober. All right. Hold on. We're going to take a quick break. Now that we're done that, we're going to look at Carney responding to this, and then we'll look at the next thing. So we're going to take a quick break. Go get your drinks. Go get a refill. Go get a snack, and we'll be back in a minute. I really want to know what constitutes right wing in Finland. That is fascinating. I will be back though in a minute. Hello, welcome back. Hoi hoi hoi. Alright. We back. What's going on? Okay. Sorry, I missed what Obtuse Moose has been saying. What are you up to, dude? What's up? What's going on? What is a left-winger and what is a right-winger in Finland? Yeah, I don't know what the political spectrum looks like in Finland. Presumably it's close to the same as Canada. So, like, I don't know, like, presumably your right wing is not as extreme as, like, the United States or Canada in some capacities. I hope that Canada moves away from car dependency. I hope so, too. Moving away from car dependency would be nice. Because it does put an undue influence on the free market. For those of you who are more free market oriented. Okay. So we need to go to the next one, which was this one? Get out of my way. No, that's 3 days ago. Where's the other one? This one? This one? Get out of my way. Yeah, okay, so this one is from a day after Poilievre's presser that we just watched. I got my trans emerge hat. I felt like it was appropriate. Okay. Let's go.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis vraiment ravi d'être parmi vous ce matin. Welcome to Nepean. Beautiful day here in Nepean. Looking forward to Game 3 of the Senators series tonight. Very excited about that. Go Senators.
Nobody likes Ottawa.
Go.
How far do you want to go back, or just the French Revolution? I more mean, like, what is the current political spectrum? Is my, like, so, like, it's 2026. So if you want to give me, like, the last 6 years is the political spectrum. What's the vibe? Give me a vibe check. Point of privilege. Doug Ford ate all the pastry. Can we get more pastry? Valid.
They're, too bad about the Oilers last night, Prime Minister, but as I always say, you know, the Oilers are in the playoffs, the Senators are in the playoffs, the Toronto Maple Leafs are not, so I'm
Yo, shade, but also not wrong. Shade, but also not wrong.
Good with that. I want to start by sincerely thanking Prime Minister Carney and Minister Gregor Robertson for their partnership and for prioritizing a mixed income approach to housing that includes such a strong emphasis on building new, affordable, and supportive homes right here.
Oh, you mean there is home building happening in Canada? Oh, we have a far-right government now compared to Canada? Really? Interesting. What did you think of the Nordic meeting that happened that Canada got invited to? Because I know you guys, it was like Denmark, Finland, Norway were all there, and I think it was the first time Canada was invited. Is there like a vibe about that happening? Are people happy with that? Not happy with that? Okay with it? We sold from SIPs to Canada. Yeah, you did. Hell yeah.
Here in Ottawa. At the City of Ottawa, we share those priorities. And just like other levels of government, we've been doing the hard work at City Hall with the goal of making Ottawa the most housing-friendly city in Canada. We're saying yes to housing. And this agreement with the federal government is a huge step forward toward that objective. As you'll recall, just a few months ago, the Prime Minister and I signed a framework agreement between the City of Ottawa and the federal government. This agreement is now realized after a few short months of hard work between the city and Build Canada Homes. And it's the first...
Oh, so the city had to work with the federal government to enable the breaking of ground for homes? Imagine that. And it took a few months?
First agreement of its kind in Canada. So thank you, Prime Minister Carney, for choosing Ottawa for this landmark agreement. I hope this is the first of many. And thank you for your leadership on tackling the housing crisis head-on, moving with urgency to build more homes, to build them quickly.
This is the mayor of Ottawa speaking, by the way.
And to build them more affordably. We feel that same urgency at City Hall in Ottawa. Which is why, before we even approached BCH and the federal government with a proposition, we made sure that our own house was in order. Ottawa has been saying yes to housing, yes to working with other levels of government, with home builders, with non-market housing providers like Ottawa Community Housing. And I'm delighted that we're joined by the team from Ottawa Community Housing, including the incredible CEO, Stéphane Giguère, and our chair, Teresa Kavanagh, and my colleague from Ottawa City Council, David Hill, who's here as well. Great to be joined by the members of the local Liberal caucus as well. We are saying yes to creating the conditions to get shovels in the ground and roofs over people's heads. Over the past year, we've...
How's the housing crisis going? Same as the whole of the the U.S. and the EU. Yeah, Canada has a housing crisis in the same way. It's not as bad, I don't think, as the United States, but it is worse than the EU, from my understanding. But our current government, as you can see, has been talking about and working on alleviating that crisis. There's been there's a tax cut for first-time home buyers. There is a cut to paying taxes on money that you've saved to then spend on a house. They're trying to build more housing. The housing prices in Canada, particularly in my area, which is a little bit outside of Toronto, have gone down. There was, back when Trudeau was Prime Minister, there was a change in the rules around and the laws around Airbnbs and housing ownership that helped deal with the rent costs, and those have been going down. So at least in my local area, I have seen a local effect. As for like building, it's going to take some time, but they have started a lot of that work. Has it helped me personally? Yes. Particularly around, and so I've moved a lot in the handful of years. Admittedly, I think groceries are still a little bit too expensive. It's a process. It's a process. I still think personally, I think groceries are a little bit too expensive still. That'll have to come down. But that's not housing related. That's it's a little bit different. And yeah, no. The change in the move to cheaper. So, well, yes, but also one of the things that it's really done is it has prevented places from increasing their rent a tenant over tenant. So like my rent won't change very much year to year if I don't move. But the inflation of rental places has, like, the prices aren't jumping like they were. So like if you wanted to move, let's say I was paying, let's just call it $1,000. Like that's not a good, how does inflation happen? Oh my guy, take an economics class. How does inflation happen? A healthy economy. That's how inflation happens, generally. How does unregulated inflation happens? In bad ways, usually a lot of factors involving oligarchies. Inflation is part of a healthy economy, yeah. Unfettered inflation is not necessarily there are symptoms, but inflation is not inherently a bad thing. All right.
Taken a number of steps to achieve that goal. We launched our Housing Innovation Task Force. We're implementing more than 50 different...
Not like there was a big disruption in grocery supply chains last year. It's not like the gas prices affect the transport of goods or anything.
Recommendations to streamline the process at City Hall, cut or defer fees, and shorten approval times. We eliminated or reduce the scope of dozens of different studies. We passed a new zoning bylaw. And yesterday, City Council unanimously approved the agreement with Build Canada Homes. In Ottawa, we're tackling this crisis from all angles. Notre objectif est de devenir la ville la plus favorable au logement aux new homes in Ottawa. And now with this agreement approved, we can start planning to build 3,000 new homes in Ottawa. These will be truly mixed income communities with the emphasis on providing affordable and supportive housing. Well over half of these units will be lower or significantly lower than what the market can typically provide.
Interesting.
Il s'agit d'une entente. This is a historic deal between our city and the federal government. We've been working behind the scenes to do the hard work to get it done, and most importantly, to get it done quickly. This deal will create thousands of new homes, including deeply affordable homes built on public land in our city. And I think this is what the public expects of us.
This is 100% why local government matters. If you have local government that is there to help you, that is very, very, very important. So be involved in your local politics if you can be.
Elected representatives, especially
or be knowledgeable in your local politics if you can be.
Response to something as significant as the housing crisis, to work collaboratively in their best interests, to eliminate obstacles and to find solutions, to move with speed and clarity, quite simply to get things done. And that is what today is really about. So I want to once again thank the Prime Minister and Minister Robertson for their support. I look forward to continuing.
Paya says, guarantee this will fail as this failed in Sweden and Finland. Can you, can you elaborate a little bit to let us know what you're talking about?
Our strong partnership to solve problems, to make a difference, and to restore the promise of housing that is abundant, affordable, and attainable. Thank you. Merci. And I'll now invite Minister Robertson to say a few words.
Thank you, Mark. Merci, Monsieur le Maire. Good morning, everyone. Bon matin. It's great to be here in Ottawa with the Prime Minister, with Mayor Sutcliffe and members of his council, as well as some of our Ottawa caucus colleagues, David, Yasser, Anita, and Caroline, who is the Parliamentary Secretary for Housing and Infrastructure. Merci aussi à toutes les organisations communautaires et nos partenaires qui sont ici aujourd'hui. Housing affordability remains one of Canada's hardest hitting challenges as Canadians continue to feel the stress that rent and mortgage payments put on their monthly budget. As a former mayor, I recognize the challenges that face our cities and towns when it comes to building the supply of affordable housing that meets the needs of our residents. It is a challenge I faced in my...
I will remind everybody, last time Canada did this, there was a massive boom and it worked out really well for us. So that was like back in the day when you could buy a house out of a Sears catalog.
My own time at City Hall and now as Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, I am dedicated to investing in and supporting our cities as we tackle the affordable...
Well, I want to know what they're talking about that failed in Sweden and Finland. So I honestly don't know what you're referring to because I don't know the policies of Sweden and Finland. Which policy? There's more than one policy being discussed. Which policy are you talking about?
Housing challenge together. Maison Canada a été créée avec un objectif clair. Bâtir plus de logements, plus rapidement, et là où les besoins sont les plus grands. Under the Prime Minister's leadership, we have taken quick action. With Build Canada Homes, we started right away to fast-track affordable housing.
Are you talking about the program Build Canada Homes? Is that what you're referring to?
Construction and drive a more productive and efficient home building industry across the country. Today's announcement is about families.
3,000 housing units is fucking nothing in the size of Canada. 3,000 is like not enough.
Here in Ottawa, finding a home that they can afford, about projects that will give workers
Ottawa is very
opportunity to develop their skills, and about growing and strengthening the city for generations to come. To tell us more about this important work, it's my pleasure to introduce...
Yep, you know what I was talking about. Canada did this after World War II to host veterans, and it was immensely successful. Back in the day when you could build a house from a Sears catalog.
Prime Minister Mark Carney. Merci.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gregor, Minister. I would like to thank my
I'm finding it suspicious that you can't name the policy and keep just saying what he just said as if there isn't a delay. Like, my guy, just be clear. We're not here to bite your head off.
Caucus colleagues who are joining me today, as well as David, Councillor for Nepean, Tyler Watt, the MPP for the region. Margaret, thank you.
So you think there's an issue with the number of units being built in this area being 3,000? So what's the problem? Why is that an issue? It will be more. This is just the first, as you may have heard at the beginning, this is their first. The first one in one city. I don't care how many did he say? Are you okay? What? I'm gonna play.
For being here and the work, and Stefan, the work for the community homes, and Mayor Sutcliffe. Thank you. Thank you for your leadership, your partnership. And this today is truly about partnership, working for the people of Ottawa and the people of Canada, an example of what gets done when there's focus and partnership. The Mayor and I would say, have been partners from the very beginning. Literally, my first day as Prime Minister, the first thing I did after I got up was to go have breakfast at John's Diner in Wellington West with the Mayor to talk about shared priorities. Yours as Mayor.
For anybody who doesn't know, our Parliament is in Ottawa. So the guy it's like being the Mayor of Washington, D.C., if that makes sense.
Mine as Prime Minister, and the first thing on both of our list was affordable housing, getting affordable housing, how we can build housing faster, more efficiently, more sustainably, and of course...
Well, if you want to know whether or not 3,000 homes in just Ottawa is reasonable, you'd have to understand the relative size of Ottawa. So, first off, let's look at it, right? Let's look at it on Google Earth. Like I said, I knew we were going to need Google Earth. Take a look. Get out of here. Go away. Ottawa is right here. So this is the size of Ottawa. You will notice that Ottawa is sizably smaller than Toronto. So here's Toronto. That's Toronto. That's all Toronto. Vaughan is part of Toronto. Mississauga is almost part of Toronto now. This is all Toronto, right? If you want like an American thing, here's New York. And New York looks like this, right? There's Brooklyn, right? Ottawa is right there, okay? And the population of Ottawa, according to Wikipedia, is 1,017,449. And a metropolitan population of 1,448,307. It is the fourth largest city and fourth largest metropolitan area in Canada. So if you want to talk about building 3,000 homes in a fucking city with over 1 million people, maybe it's not the Moby Dick you're thinking it is.
At lower cost purchase, but also lower run cost for people in housing here in Ottawa and across Canada. Because when we build a stronger Ottawa, we build a stronger Canada, and our objective is a stronger Canada for all. And that foundation is the home.
My guy, be sure to stack them on top of each other so there's no room in the country. I'm going to go ahead and show you Ottawa again. Excuse me. Look at the space around Ottawa. How many houses? Well, look at the satellite, make you feel better. How many houses are here? Let me move it down. How many houses are over here? Let me go back. Here's the city. Yeah, lots of fucking houses here. Right? What about up here? What about this whole area? There's some houses right there. Do you want me to use the measure tool to tell you how fucking, like, far this is? Like the distance measuring tool? To pretend that Canada doesn't have space to expand outward is probably one of the most absurd fucking things I have ever heard.
Home is the foundation of a good life, and yet for too many Canadians, housing has remained out of reach for too long. Now, there has been some progress over the course of...
So do you think Pierre Poilievre agrees with that? Is that part of Pierre Poilievre's rhetoric? People can't afford housing? So Poilievre agrees with Mark Carney then, right? We can all get on the same page? Okay, cool.
The past year, I think it's important to recognize, to track where we are and whether we're making progress. By the end of last year, the start of this year, housing affordability in Canada had begun to improve from very unaffordable levels, but had begun to improve, and in fact had improved over the course of the last 24 months, longest streak recorded. The percentage of income that Canadians are spending on mortgage payments is now at their lowest level in 4 years. Asking rents are down to a 35-month low. The rent-to-income ratio, its lowest level in over 6 years. So,
all right, cool. So what does that mean? Numbers go down equal number go down? Does that count as deflation?
some encouraging signs, but starting from very high levels, or put it a different way, levels of inaffordability. So there's still much, much work to do. The reality is that for decades, Canada has just not built enough affordable housing. And now Canadians are paying the price, particularly young Canadians. And what has been built over decades often has the overall costs have been driven up by development charges, taxes, high construction costs. And the average Canadian...
Hey, those are the things Pierre Poilievre complains about. Cool, so we're all in agreement. This shit is expensive, and we don't like that.
Household is still spending more than half of their income on mortgage payments. So those mortgage payments starting to come...
That's what's the actual problem. The problem isn't that things are expensive. It's that that they're out of reach, which means that our dollar isn't going as far as it needs to go, right?
Down, but it's still, as I said a moment ago, high levels. Il faut que tout le monde nous aide à régler ces maisons construction. Planifier deuxième de pied Canada. Nouvelle industrie. So Build Canada its launch in September of last year, préfabriqué. So since its launch in September of last year, just September of last year, Build Canada Homes has already committed to more than 10,000 new units through 13 partnerships across Canada, with over 1,400 homes already under construction or breaking ground.
Already under construction. So that thing Pierre Poilievre told us before was a lie.
In the next 2 months. That means new affordable homes in Ottawa, Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Gatineau, and Halifax. And to build on this momentum...
So 10,000 homes built across those major areas.
And to further lower the costs of building affordable homes, Canada's new government tabled legislation to unlock $1.7 billion in federal funding for the provinces and territories. Through the bill...
So that means the federal government is going to give money to the provinces.
Community Strong Fund, we're investing billions to build housing-enabling infrastructure and reduce municipal development charges, charges that the buyers of new homes ultimately pay. Last month, we put that funding to work through a new agreement.
Obtuse Moose, you do know that there are people from the UK in this chat, right? Like you're saying that like you can't literally ask the people in the UK. They're literally in the chat right now.
Agreement with Ontario. And this agreement will enable municipalities to cut development charges in half for 3 years, reducing the upfront costs of home building and giving builders the certainty that they need to build. So here in Ottawa, this measure alone, one measure alone, could bring down the cost of building a two-bedroom apartment by more than $15,000 and a new average single-family home by more than $28,000. And to further bring down costs for the Canadians who are buying those homes who are renting, those homes. We've eliminated GST on homes for up to $1 million for first-time home buyers, saving Canadians up to $50,000 on the purchase of their first home. That tax cut, now passed, officially
So the way that works is that you pay it and then the tax gets cut off or you get reimbursed later.
came into place last month. And we're working with the provinces and territories to further multiply those savings. With the help of new federal funding, the Government of Ontario is matching the government's GST cut with a provincial HST relief on all new homes, valued at up.
Hey, this is the shit I mentioned. See, this is what I mean by it sounds ridiculous when conservatives say that they're doing nothing. Right? You remember, Feline, we watched the Mark Carney's forward thinking video last week? Yeah, Moose, by the way, we watched that video last week. The forward guidance is what it's called. Moose, we watched that last week, so if you want to see what we thought about that, it's from last week. You can go check that out. But if you want to ask people from the UK about his forward guidance strategy and how it affected the UK while he was the governor of England, you can certainly ask them. They're right here.
To $1 million. So what does that mean here in Ottawa? It means saving buyers in Ottawa as much as $130,000 on the purchase of their new home. If you combine that with the development charge reduction, that could mean as much as $158,000 in savings. Real money back in the pockets of Canadians. It's a clear example of what governments can do when they focus and when they work together. En décembre, comme Monsieur le maire vient de le dire, le maire Sutcliffe et moi, nous avons annoncé un nouveau partenariat ambitieux entre Maison Canada et la ville d'Ottawa. Ce partenariat l'a investi ennemi et notre construction.
So the question becomes, do you not want these tax cuts? Do you want your home to cost an extra $150,000 when you buy a new home? Now, the governor of the Bank of England, sorry. My bad. Did I say the governor of England? Sorry, the governor of the Bank of England.
So December, the mayor and I made a commitment to build more homes faster for the people of Ottawa. Today, we're proud to announce that Build Canada Homes has approved 8 new housing projects.
Yeah. Obtuse Moose. What do you want to ask people from the UK? Specifically, like, what's the question? Because they will, there are people available that will answer the question for you. So what do you want to ask them? Yeah, how did Carney do in the UK? Good or bad? Was he appreciated or hated? Great question. Can we get an answer? Like, I know that some of those answers are going to be in the comment section for people that are going to watch later. So look out for that.
That will build more than 1,100 new rental homes in the city of Ottawa, already exceeding our original target by 10%. We're fast-tracking these projects to get shovels in the ground in the next few months, shovel in the ground over there, and I want to thank Ottawa City Council for their unanimous vote of confidence in this work last evening. Construction right here on Geyser Place will begin later this year.
Geyser Place.
And this project, I covered them both, but it's Geyser. You say Geyser, I say Geyser. Tomato. This project will build more than, well, it says 100 new rental units. Actually, I think, Stéphane, it's closer to 180. 118. 118. 118 nouveaux.
Okay, so some of them will, like, all of the cut is not all in taxes. Some of it's in subsidies, and some of it's coming from building, which is dragging the cost down. So it's definitely like a mixed bag of what is getting to that total number, right?
Appartements, en effet, de logement pour des Canadiens de classe moyenne, for middle-class Canadians. Now, beyond here in Nepean, we're building in Centertown, in Sandy Hill, in Overbrook, and Lincoln Heights. Homes across this city built by Canadians for Canadians. L'important, nous l'élection et travailler de manière à more benefit from if économique. And for example, this project will benefit from c'est quoi? Geothermal.
All right, so as if you're a conservative out there watching, what do you disagree with about Canadian homes being built by Canadian resources? What part of building housing in Canada, utilizing Canadian companies and Canadian lumber and Canadian industry, do you disagree with, if anything? If you don't disagree, that's fine. I just want to know what you agree and don't agree with on like an actual, like, something we can actually have a conversation about, as opposed to like just general, like a lot of vague general statements of dissatisfaction. I understand your dissatisfaction. I share your dissatisfaction, but like if we want to be productive, we need to like find out what we agree and disagree on. So, are you for or against the government, the federal government specifically, spending money investing in housing in Canadian cities, utilizing and being forced to use Canadian products and Canadian companies to do so? Do you agree or disagree with that? The Canadian conservatives are spicy. That's okay. I can handle a little bit of spice. It's all right.
Geothermal, yeah, heating and cooling. It's dramatically lowering the costs for the residents. Et avant tout, conformément à notre politique canadienne fort.
Yeah, for anybody asking about Carney's performance in the UK, Feline answered it in the chat. The live chat is available. You can check that out.
Afin que une économie avantage de tout. Okay. Now, it's early days, but our plan's working. Despite all the shocks, Canada is expected to have the second fastest growing economy in the G7 this year and next. Wages overall.
It was also last year as well.
Growing now at twice the rate of overall inflation. But at the same time, we know that the cost of living is still high. And we know.
Yeah, bringing down the inflation alone does not fix the problem. That's what he's saying. It's like, even if we bring inflation down, it still means that things are currently unaffordable and we need to adjust that gap, right?
That some of the biggest payoffs of our plan will...
Ooh, if the new buildings are coming with solar panels? Ooh, tapped into the grid? Oh.
Take time. So we're supporting Canadians.
I bet they all have fucking fiber.
Who are under pressure from everyday expenses with a boost.
Moose! Stop! My guy, come on. Come on, man. You're better than this. What? Moose! Hey! Stop getting distracted. Russian-styled housing blocks. Do you have anything of substance? Can you actually add anything besides obnoxious rhetoric? Yeah, now we have to have a whole ass problem of fucking what is the problem with housing blocks in Russia specifically? You got fiber last year? Yo, I'm jealous. Moose! Hey! You brought it up. What's the problem? Oh, wait. It's fine. It's okay. No. Moose, what's the problem? What's the problem with the housing blocks in Russia? I'll wait. While you're at it, tell me what fucking 5% of 20% is. On 100. Tell me what the problem is. No, you're fine, Templar. You're good. I know, we'll wait. We'll wait. Come on, Moose. Come on. You brought it up. What's the problem with housing blocks in Russia? You brought it up like it's a problem? Do you need me to give you, do you need to call in? Do you need to tell me in auditory format? I can give you a thing. You can join in and you can tell me what the problem is. Is the problem that they're in Russia? Because I would probably say the problem is that they're in Russia. And Russia is not in a great economic place right now. What's the problem? Come on. What's the problem? You would rather people be homeless than living in housing blocks? I'd like to call you a word I can't use. Is it cunt? Is the word cunt? You can use the word cunt here. You're not describing what's the problem with Russian housing blocks. You brought it up. What's the problem? I'm asking you. You're the one who brought them up as an issue. So what's the problem with the Russian housing blocks? I'm not saying there isn't an issue. I want you to tell me what you think the issue is. Citation needed. What's the problem? Communism. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. You want me to get the timer up? I'll get the timer up. All right, there you go. There's the timer. Let's go. So define what a Russian housing block is, describe it to me, and then tell me what the issue is. What's the problem? Come on. You wanted the attention. You got the attention. You want your voice heard. We're listening to you. Fucking come on. No. Don't puss out now. Come on. You mean Russia stopped investing in their infrastructure and maintaining their structures? And maintaining their cities because they're in an economic crisis and started a bullshit war? So they can't afford to keep those places nice? That sounds like a different issue. If you think they're perfect for Canada, how? In what way? Come on. I believe in you. Surely you have a point. Surely you have an argument. Surely you wouldn't just come into the side chat and spout bullshit to make yourself feel better and, jerk yourself off, right? Clearly you wouldn't make me part of your whole sexual situation, right? You wouldn't do that without my consent, right? You wouldn't do that. So come on, what's your shtick? As far as we can tell, this program isn't building apartment buildings. This is also true. This is about home building, not apartments. So it was not really applicable to this anyway, but, Come on, Moose. Why are you running away? You want to have the conversation, don't you? You've been bringing up things, and now we're going to take our time, and we're going to focus on what you have to say and your argument. Come on. No, convince me then. He can't. He won't. And while we're here, again, hey, Moose, what's 5% of 20% on 100? Yeah, apparently cheap housing is bad. Affordable housing is bad now, guys. Well, all right. We've gone full circle. I've lived in apartments. They're fine. I don't have a problem with apartments. Toronto's full of apartments. That doesn't make them affordable. Just because they're apartments, just because they're flats, just because they're condos doesn't make them affordable. Things being affordable is bad, guys. You heard it here. The plebeians. The plebeians. Surely you wouldn't not have an argument at all and been begging for attention, and then as soon as you got it, shit your pants. That's embarrassing. That would be embarrassing. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that, right? Oh, cheap could also mean poorly made. Oh, so you're saying Canadian products are cheap and not good, and Canadian industry is cheap and doesn't have any wherewithal to it. It's bad product. You're saying Canadian products are bad? Are bad products? Don't have any quality to them? Is that what you're saying, Moose? It's not very patriotic. They could just clarify themselves. Yeah, they could just make an argument instead of random accusations and sarcasm, as if that matters or makes a difference from a realistic... Didn't you not just hear Pierre Poilievre? He wants shit to be realistic. And what those things mean in reality. Not this illusion that you seem to be presenting to us. That nobody's buying. Canadian products have a pretty decent reputation. This is true. Canadian products do have a pretty decent reputation. Building codes and inspections also exist. Yep, those exist. We've devolved to pointing upwards. Well, I think we broke Moose already, guys. We broke Moose by asking them about their own position, because they cannot articulate their own position. Moose, why can you not articulate your own position? Moose, why can you not articulate your own position? It doesn't matter whether you're Canadian or not, realistically. What are the chances that they follow the other Moose? Probably decently high. But oh, now you don't care. Oh, screw you guys, I'm going home. Calm down, Cartman, it's fine. Nobody cares.
Today and a bridge to that better tomorrow. And that's why we temporarily cut the federal fuel excise tax this week, bringing down costs at the pump by up to 10 cents per liter. Combined...
It's almost like, okay, guys, they're bringing down the prices of gas with a tax cut. Conservatives, what part about this do you disagree with? Or do you agree with this?
With our earlier elimination of the consumer carbon tax on day one of our government, we've lowered the price of gas by up to 28 cents per liter. We've cut income taxes for 22 million Canadians, saving families up to $840 each year.
All right, so what do you guys disagree with about cutting income taxes for middle-class Americans or Canadians? Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
We've launched the Groceries and Essentials benefit, which will deliver direct payments to more than 12 million Canadians, up to $1,890 per family. That's money deposited.
All right, so what about making groceries affordable does this not apply to? Giving a tax rebate for groceries? Or bringing down the cost of groceries? What part of this do you disagree with?
Deposited directly into bank accounts, starting with the first checks on the 5th of June. That's how we're building a Canada that's not just strong, but good. A Canada
No, Moose. You don't get to move on. You tell me about the Russian housing blocks, and anything else that you say besides that does not count until you address the housing blocks in Russia. Anything you say after that doesn't count. I'm not talking to you.
Not just prosperous, but fair. Canada that's not just for some, most of the time, but for all of the time. A Canada where everyone can get ahead. Nous bâtissons un pays fort. See?
Question to ask about the Marco. Hey, thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Marco Vigliotti, iPolitics. I want to ask about the
Look at how not screamy all the questions are. Isn't that nice?
status of the trade talks.
It's almost like they're not worried that they're not going to be able to get their questions in.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Marco Vigliotti, iPolitics. I want to ask about the status of the trade talks because I'm admittedly a bit confused. The Americans, when I talk to them, they don't really kind of understand where this talk of an entry fee is coming from, saying we've been very, very clear with the Canadians what our trade irritants are. Yep. You had Howard Lutnick.
Trade irritants? You mean the trade irritants that you started? Those trade irritants? Or are you talking about the trade irritants as in, like, Donald Trump saying that the only thing he wants from Canada to do with trade is friendship?
You had Jameson Greer yesterday doubling down that dairy and alcohol.
I agree with you. I think cutting taxes in as a short-term measure because people are hurting right now might work, but I'm also concerned that we're not spending on public services. No, I agree. I think, but I do think that that's not necessarily all federal, and I think you would agree with me, right? I think you would agree with me that cutting taxes in the short term is fine as long as it stays in the short term in this regard, for the, like, specifically for the gas because of the Strait and the United States causing a bunch of fucking problems. But I also think that we both agree that it would not be a federal, necessarily or inherently a federal issue. Some of those issues are provincial and some of them are even local municipalities. So, right?
In particular, were huge barriers to restarting trade talks, and Jameson Greer even threatened retaliatory actions if you don't convince your provincial colleagues to remove some of those bans on U.S. liquor. So I gotta ask, considering yesterday you said, I'm not backing down, we're not going to make any concessions to get Americans to come to the table, what's the game plan here? Or what do you...
So, Carney specifically said he's not making any concessions. And then Pierre Poilievre walked out of the Parliament building and said, Carney is conceding everywhere.
What are you prepared to do to get Americans at the table here? Or are you comfortable with this kind of awkward status quo that we have right now?
It is awkward.
I don't think that was an exact quote of what I said yesterday, so I'm going to
paraphrasing.
I'm not going to associate myself with the way you framed it.
Fair.
There are a series of trade issues between the countries. Most of the issues have been raised by the United States, either in terms of things they want to see changed in Canada. There are a series of tariff measures the United States has put in place which are in violation of the existing agreement.
See?
The tariffs on steel.
What did I tell you? The tariffs that are existing are already in violation of an agreement that we already fucking have. So what about having another agreement is going to ensure that that's not going to be a problem? And why would we agree to something that you've done in violation of that agreement in a new agreement? Like, what the fuck? Discussing bourbon is directly important to fair trade. Yeah.
Tariffs on aluminum, the tariffs on automobiles, the tariffs on forest products. Those are not consistent with the existing agreement. We look forward to sitting down. We have an exchange around these issues, both in terms of understanding what I'll use there.
I will point out, just to be clear for anybody who fucking doesn't know, who violated CUSMA first? The United States. The United States violated CUSMA. The United States violated CUSMA when fucking Donald Trump did it the first time. Now he's violating it a second time. So who violated it at all? Great question. The United States. Okay, so specifically Donald Trump administration. Okay, but what was I gonna say? Brain. Hold on, let me put back. Let me listen to what he said again because I lost what I was gonna say. Oh, right. It is not necessarily going to be Mark Carney that is doing the negotiations directly. We already have somebody who does that. It's Matt LeBlanc. Matt LeBlanc is going to be the one who's going to be doing most of those negotiations, not Mark Carney.
Their term, they often use trade irritants, a series of measures, which would include actions that have been taken in response to the American measures, such as the provincial action.
Right. Actions that have been taken in response to the United States violating CUSMA.
These are provincial actions.
No, Canada did not violate tariff quotas. That's not true. That's just a misrepresentation. The quotas existed. They've never been violated. They existed already in the deal. The fact that you even know about them demonstrates that. There's an amount before the tariffs get added, so it is not in violation of the agreement. I recommend you actually read the agreement. If you think it's in violation, please cite me which part of the agreement, because I'll pull it up right now.
respect to alcohol on the shelves. I mean, you got to remember, the client here are the provincial liquor authorities.
And also, exactly, the country is different than the provinces.
Make the decisions, what they put on their shelf. And they make those decisions based on a series of considerations, and they've taken that into...
Poor Moose doesn't know that we've already been over the fucking... Trump already said, nobody cares what Trump said. It doesn't matter what Trump said. Trump changes his mind hour to hour. Trump changes his mind every time he shits his pants. Like, it literally doesn't matter what Trump said.
To account. So our work is as follows. With respect,
they're gonna tariff 50% on all Canadian goods. Okay, sounds like a you problem, not an us problem. We don't care. I don't know if you've noticed. The Canadians don't give a shit. You want to know what Canadians did in response? They stopped buying United States goods. So therefore, we're not even fucking paying the tariffs that exist on the shit from our own country, and you guys are just paying the tariffs on the shit coming from our country all on your fucking own. So, lol. Sucks to be you, I guess. Enjoy your famine incoming.
Specifically to the negotiations, is to be prepared on all of the issues to provide our perspective and address, to negotiate.
Okay, so which part about being prepared do the Conservatives disagree with? Do you disagree? Do you think you shouldn't go into negotiations prepared? I've literally heard people say that you shouldn't be prepared going into negotiations and you should be concerned about the other party as opposed to yourself in negotiations. I've heard this before. So, you know, Canada's already diversifying. Well, if you want an example of this, there was a company in Australia that because of the tariffs was going to go bankrupt. And they were going to lose a bunch of jobs in Australia. And what Canada did is we jumped in and went, hey, do you want to go through us instead? And not only did Canada save those jobs in Australia, but also created more jobs and saved jobs in Canada through shipping and warehousing. So, yeah, see, and this is where we get to the point where it breaks down, right? Like, Obtuse Moose, if you have not noticed, is not capable of having an adult conversation like an adult. They're a fucking child. Right? They're eating the crayons. And they're eating the crayons by shoving them up their nose. Tell me, Obtuse Moose, what's your favorite flavor of color? Is it purple? Purple's pretty good. It is pretty good. I'll give you that one.
In the round on all of these issues, this is a review process that's baked into the existing framework of the agreement.
Yeah, if you want to know which company it was, get with me, send me like a message, like a DM message, and remind me. I'll go and find the actual thing.
And as well to see where there are opportunities where we can be stronger together, and there are a number of those. We have those discussions as a whole.
We have bricks for Obtuse Moose. We don't need dodgeballs for Obtuse Moose.
You prefaced your question where you don't know where this talk of a quote entry fee. I don't know where the talk of a quote entry fee is from. Certainly not.
Yeah, didn't you know that there's no jobs in Canada? Nobody has a job. What I'm doing right now, not a job. Doesn't count. No jobs. There's no income in Canada whatsoever. Doesn't exist. And now you're just naming off liquor brands.
I mean, for me, it's not language I've ever used, and it's not language I've ever heard from the President of the United States. So, look, we're ready. We're having exchange. It's more than ready. There's exchange.
Can you dodge a wrench? No.
On both understanding the issues and on opportunities.
Jason in the chat, based on data from early 2026, Canada is generating jobs at a faster per capita pace than the United States. As of April 2026, Canada has added nearly 3 times as many jobs per capita. Oof. That's gotta fucking sting.
For cooperation. It's a negotiation. These things have their own...
Government jobs don't produce anything. Oh? Oh, really? Kraken rum now bottled in Canada. Kraken rum needs to be bottled in Canada because otherwise nobody was buying it, and it was taken off of some shelves. It wasn't even every province, by the way. Not every province did that. Oh, sourpuss. Government jobs pay money. I feel like that's producing stuff. Does producing money not count? Does adding money into the economy not count? Define government job. Are you just saying anything that counts as like, you think the secretary that is out there approving building construction and that construction road work doesn't count as producing anything? Does having a functional road count as producing something, guys? I don't know, man. What about fixing water mains? What about in the wintertime when water mains burst on a regular basis? Does fixing those water mains, which is construction that is paid for by the city because they're city streets, does that count as producing something? No? What about a pipeline? Bro, does a pipeline count? The federal government paid for the pipeline. Does that count as jobs that are government jobs? Or does that count as producing something? No? No? Garbage collection? No? No? What about post? Does the postal service produce something? Define producing something. You seem confused. Moose, are you okay? You seem confused. What counts? What counts as a product to you? And if that's the case, are you implying that the government should be involved in industry? Jesus Christ, you guys are fucking stupid. Holy moly.
And they also have what's happening above the surface and what's happening below the surface. And, we'll see in the fullness of time.
Follow-up? Yeah, on that same vein, I guess my confusion stems from the fact that the Americans are saying, not really a negotiation. We're laying out what we need to see Canada do, and Canada's not meeting us there.
That's a negotiation.
That is the definition of a negotiation.
That's a position?
Yeah, it's a position in a negotiation.
There's two parties in a negotiation. One, we're not sitting here taking notes, okay, and taking instruction from the United States.
There you go.
Understanding their position. Understanding
their position is fine. We are not taking notes.
It's in Canada's interest, in our joint interest to be stronger together. And this is a government that can do many things at one time. We set up, to go back to today, we set up Build Canada Homes. It literally was set up in September. The legislation to give it all of its authorities is still working its way through the House. We're glad that we have a majority now. We can move that forward more rapidly. We're already in a position where Do
you want do you want Canada to bow down to the United States?
1,000 plus homes catalyzed by Build Canada Homes are either under these agreements are in place. We've got 1,400 homes are either under construction or will be in the next 2 months. We're doing that plus large projects. We're doing it plus providing
instead of just
boost and a bridge to Canadians. We're doing that while continuing, despite unprecedented trade measures being taken.
Government jobs are funded by taxes, which shifts resources from the private sector to the public sector. How? And why is that bad?
Taken by the United States. We're the second fastest growing economy in the G7 with the best fiscal position, with 20 new deals signed with other countries around the world. So we're going to do multiple things at the
I guess we better fire all the librarians, guys.
Same time. We have enough room. We're ready to go into detail.
Communism! All right, shut her down. Shut us down. We're out. We're done. That's it. Communism. Oh my God. Oh my fucking Lord. That's it. We're done. Thank you for the stretch. We're out. I'm leaving. That's it. We're done. Communism? Alright, everybody. Thank you. Thanks for the stream. Thank you, Moose. Oh, that's really funny. Bro, if you want to come on and have a chat, let me know. I'll reach out to me on Blue Sky or reach out to me in the community fucking tab and I'll get you a link and you can come on in here and have a chat. That'd be a grand old time. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. We're gonna cut it there. Congratulations on getting bingo. You did call communism red. You right. You guys right. You knew. You fucking knew. Oh, fucking good job, everyone. Thank you. Moose is way too smart for me. Yeah, I'm here. I'm there. Yeah, no. We're good. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Have a good day, everybody. I'm gonna go record something for you for Debate Hub. Enjoy. Have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. And when you're ready for more politics stuff, we will be here soon. Like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good day. Communism? Oh my fucking lord. Brilliant.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.